In life, we are stuck in an echo chamber. We surround ourselves with like-minded people. We only listen to the things that we like. We only hang out with people that we enjoy being around. So inherently, sometimes we create a bias that we move on with throughout life. The older we get, the less curious we become. In today's episode, I'm sitting down with a father, a husband, a content creator, someone who built his entire YouTube channel off of being open-minded. You're watching Uncultured Currency, and today we're sitting down with Van from LFR Family. So Van, the tables have finally turned. You're officially on my channel. Welcome.
I'm a little afraid, bro. What's going on here?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Listen. First of all, you're like my very first non-finance guy that I'm interviewing. So this will be very interesting. Hopefully it goes well. I think you're the first. I believe you are. But I think when you and I first met, did you tell me you used to be a modern day Black Panther?
Yeah.
Explain that to me. What does that mean?
I was with the group called Positive Kinetic Visions. And one thing we used to do was we used to meet often and eat curry chicken and jerk chicken and brown rice and we would talk about it was more Pan-African-ish, not talk about white people, but definitely when we talked about white people, it was not in a good light. It was just, we called it putting ourselves first, going back to our roots, having some understanding of our history and our past, and trying not to give God any more credit for how long we've come, how far we've come, but giving our ancestors all of the praise for everything that has happened for us up to that point.
How many years were you part of this organization?
Not long enough to even say that I was a part of it, to be honest with you. It was just my mentality, my mindset at the time, to be honest with you. It was just like a gentleman at my job who's been there for a minute, like the very first guy that I met in DOD. His name's Charles. Brother was a real stand-up dude. First Black man ever in my life that says, if you ever call me a nigga, we gonna fight. And I was like, God, I call everybody nigga. God gracious. That's how I greet people. Go ask my mother.
Yeah. But I mean, that's respectable though. That's very respectful because he has a point, right? He does have a point. I was never the dude who would use the N-word often, but when I get around certain people, we would throw it around so easily. And then I realized, like, I don't know if I should do this. 2023, no more. And I already dropped it once in a text message with you. So I already broke that promise once.
You know what? It's all good, brother. It's all good, man. I mean, we all got our things that we go through, bro. Growth. It's called growth.
Yeah. God
damn it, we're here to live. As long as we don't hurt nobody in the process intentionally. But if we do it for work, that's different.
Yeah. So, but going back to your story, sorry. So Charles, you met Charles. He told you if you ever call me, and you and I are going to be fighting.
No, he wasn't talking about me specifically. He just told me that's his mindset at the time. Me, I called him a nigga anyway, just to see.
How'd that go?
But that's just how I was. But that's how you build friendships, man. You say, stop talking about my mother. All right, I ain't gonna talk about your ugly ass mother no more. All right, okay, all right, you got it. Nah, but he was the gentleman who was like, I think I'm 44. He just now turned 50, so he got me like 6-7 years. And he was just in the same age as my older brother, who taught me everything that I know about being able to, I guess, survive out here in the mean streets of DC and all that other stuff. But the respect that he showed was like, okay, that's dope. And he just started to teach me about business and all those other things. He's actually heavy into business. The only person I know that always had a rental property, traveled all the time, And I just learned just from watching him, man. Introduced me to everybody on the installation and stuff like that. So when he introduced me to this PKV, I was in it. I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's see what it is. People wearing their dashikis, everything is brother and king and queen, and I'm feeling the vibes, man. But then when they said, only white people can be racist, Black people don't have any power to take away from anybody in order to be racist. Then I started saying, okay, that's BS right there. Yeah. And then we start going back and forth. And that's just one of them, when you're eating fish, you eat the meat, spit out the bones type of situation right there. And I've never been a follower of man, ever. Like as soon as the preacher says something, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna challenge you on this. And depending on how you answer it, will tell me what I'm gonna do next. And usually if it's some BS, I'm out. You know what I mean? But that's what it was. Hopefully
that's when you absolutely. So that was like the first red flags for you. Where you're like, hold on, like I'm feeling 90% of this, but
yeah,
I don't know about this.
White people, the C word all the time. Always call them a saltine, and you know what I mean. I'm fine with that. We can do that all day, but you're not going to tell me that Black people can't be racist. One thing though that they did, they went out to the block, they went out to the hood, and they tried to talk to people. You know how like Jehovah's Witnesses go knock on doors and hand out people and start to. They went out into the block. We're like, come on, bro, what you out here doing? You know what I mean? And that didn't always go well, but they tried. You know what I mean? They still trying. Yeah. So much love to them for that.
But how is that? Because again, what did that stand for again? The acronyms?
Positive, comedic visions.
So how is that associated with the Black Panther movement at all? Or you just use it as an example?
No, it was an example. It was just like how when people, because if anybody create a group called Black Panther subsection C, okay, they'll be in the scope of whoever's looking out for any more Black Panther sales popping up around the United States. So what people usually do is that they just get their own name for their own groups, and they teach the same things. They uplift their people, for one, put Black people first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. They teach hand-to-hand combat. They teach gun safety, gun law. They teach physical and spiritual health, how to eat right, those type of things, how to take care of yourself. So it's actually a great deal. It's a great deal of good that comes from it, but it's that little sip of hate that just completely messes it up for me. Like it's
kind of like some of these biker gangs, right? Same thing. Like some of these biker gangs, they go out in the community, they help out, to do all this other stuff, but they also, occasionally smuggle guns and drugs and kill people here and there. It happens. It's
exactly
part of the process.
But you know what, Mark? Here's the thing, though, bro. It's the same thing with the federal government. It's the same thing with the federal government. That's why I won't anybody that work for the federal government that want to talk sugar honey iced tea about me and what I do, bro. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I work for the biggest gang in the world. Get the hell out of my face. No, I don't. I run human resources. I make sure people get jobs. I don't have nothing to do with that. Hey, listen, who signs your check? And there's a lot of things that they got to do behind the scenes in order for you to be able to work where you're working right now. So miss me with that. So I don't even get into the trenches too much, but it's always one of them things. Like if you point at somebody and point out somebody else's flaws, it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other fingers pointing right back at you. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. That whole government sector and military industrial complex, they're very, very hypocritical when it comes to like a lot of the stuff that they do, right?
Yeah.
It's just, it's like you said, it's just packaged differently. That's all it really is. It's just packaged differently. What's interesting about the whole Black Panther stuff, I mean, I don't know if you knew this. I was just doing some research like a long time ago. One of the reasons why they were such a big threat to like the FBI and stuff was because they were actually not just focused on Black people. I know that seems to be like the narrative from my understanding, but from looking through some of the FBI files, their biggest fear was that they would actually get white people to be a part of it, Hispanics, Asians, because it was never really about color. It was always about classism, the haves and the have-nots. And when they started expanding the Black Panthers and started opening up and then allowing some white people to come in there, the disenfranchised white people, the disenfranchised Asians and the Hispanics, it became more of a threat. Like, were you aware of that?
No, because okay. When I say no, it's one of the type things where I didn't really pay attention to that. Like, I would see it in certain write-ups about it. I would see white people mixed in with the Black Panther Party in different states and whatnot, and I would have questions, but it wouldn't be that important of a question to me at the time for me to ask. So I'm like, okay, it's white people in the Black Panther Party. Kind of confusing, but whatever.
It's like, whatever works. Yeah, I started looking into that, and that's what I heard. I mean, I don't know if it was all chapters within the Black Panther, but I know some of the major leaders, like the Huey and all of them, their goal was to basically at one point or another get all people together to essentially overthrow the government. That's why it became so dangerous. It's one thing just to have like just one group focus on just Black people, but you get everybody together when it's not about color anymore. Ooh, now it could be a threat, because now you realize, wait a second, it's not about this, it's about classism. It even goes all the way back in history. You and I, we've talked about this before too. And I know this rubs a lot of people wrong, right? But I had the same conversation with my son, he's Black History Month, and they're learning about slavery. And I'm like, so where did slaves come from? Africa. Cool. How did they become slaves over there? I mean, I don't know, they were put on ships. How did they get on the ships? White people went over there? Nah, that's not actually how it went. But then even going back to the Egyptian days, it's always about the haves and have-nots. It's just eventually, I guess, and then it turned into, it's color. It's about color. And of course, America, they treat their slaves significantly different than other places. I mean, but there's still slavery going on in this day, right? And people look the other way. But ultimately, I think if people realize and stop dividing themselves and realize it's not about really the skin color that you have, it's about division. Because if you divide so many people, and like if Asians hate Black people hate Asians, white people hate Black people hate white people, Hispanics hate them all. It's just like you're not going to get a cohesive group to get together to really push a narrative forward and push a movement forward to really have a change. It's in the best interest to keep everyone fighting within so they can still continue to have control.
Wow.
And I think once people start thinking about that, it's like, maybe if we get away from how you look and I look, because there's no difference. Listen, there's no difference between a broke Black man in the hood and a broke white dude in the middle of the woods in a trailer in West Virginia. Their environment may be a little bit different, you know what I mean? But in the end of the day, broke is broke.
Well, honestly, that's the type of message that I will much rather we try to get out there. Like, look, we're trying to all get on the same footing, economically speaking, because we're all in the same bag. But that's not profitable nowadays. I mean, preaching that right there is the right way to do it. I mean, it's like, how can we all get on the same footing so that we can move forward, move our families forward, put ourselves in position so that we can be successful? And in the event Sugar Honey Iced Tea hits the fan, we'll be all right. We got something stashed, or we got something working for us over here and over there and over there. Shout out to all the people in the financial space like yourself for telling us about certain things that we could be doing in order to get in that footing. But I call BS, bro. I call BS. I mean, it makes sense to teach that and try to act as if, this is about where we are financially. Like, we're all broke. We're all, poor and destitute, which is not the case, because whenever you point out, when you point out that fact to say, one of these gentlemen who, what's his name? He was just now having a debate with Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment. And what's his daggone name?
The white guy who's on Breaking Point?
No, not him. Shout out. I mean, but hey, that guy right there, his perspective comes from something else as well, which we can talk about later, whenever you want. But it's the black dude that got his own show. and he's been in politics for a long time. Not in politics, but he's been debating politics for a really long time. I don't know why I can't think of his name. Dang it!
It's man, I think I know who you're talking about.
Roland Martin.
Yes,
Roland Martin.
Yes, Roland Martin. Man, that was a good one.
That was a good one. And one thing it is whenever you try to put white people and black people on the same playing field, he's not having it, bro. I don't give a daggone if you say that the white people don't even have a shoe on their foot and they only could eat, they can share a can of beans between the 8 of them in their family, and they live in the woods and they don't have, and they poop in the same bucket that they can only empty once a month. Listen, he's still gonna say they got privilege. They gonna get along before we can get along. They are, you know, the fact that they can decide to live in the woods and share one bucket that they poop in
and sleep with their sisters and do meth. They can choose that.
That is privilege. Like what? What the hell are you talking about? But that's how some people need for racism to always be a thing so it can be profitable. The dramatization of it all is sexy. It's something that you can sell. It's something that you can, like, I can preach about it. I get upset about it. I can rile up the troops and make sure everybody's upset. And then they will join me in being upset. And we will always have the type of dramatization we can sell to the public so they can just sit there and watch us be upset, because it's not about moving forward. It's just about getting that cash. Somebody at the top will be getting it, someone in the bottom will not. It's like a multi-level marketing scheme.
I like that.
That's seriously, that's what it's like. And to me, that's what the Black Panther Party was. And I mean, it's like Shelby Steele. You know who Shelby Steele is, right? Well,
it rings a bell.
Well, he's like one of, you know, Thomas Sowell. Okay, well, Shelby Steele.
I'm glad finally I heard another person besides Thomas Sowell, because that's the one I said on your show the first time. That's a token black guy that all conservatives always go to, and people got mad. But what I meant, I wasn't disrespecting him. I was just saying that's always the one that everybody always refers to. Well, Thomas Sowell. Is there any other black leaders out there that think like Thomas Sowell? But go ahead.
Here's the thing. Yeah, Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the pill. I'm not talking about the pudding pop. None of that. Not talking about none of that. But what happens is whenever you have a conservative-minded gentleman who puts family and God first, and country also, they are considered the token black guy, right? Well, Shelby Steele is one of those gentlemen that you probably should consider just checking out, man. What happens is he's just as equally respected as Thomas Sowell, and he is a conservative. But when he was growing up, this dude was Black Panther Party to a T. Him and his girlfriend was traveling with him. They went when they escaped and went to Cuba. They went out there. They bought a plane ticket out there. They're 22 years old, nose wide open. They thinking that they're a part of something big, and they out there with the crew, man. People that are hiding from the federal government, and they like, man, we about to do something big because God know that we're doing the right thing. And he said they was out there just watching them. And these dudes are hijacking planes, and they are hijacking this, and then they go back to their camps, and then they drink and smoke and have sex, and then they do it all over again. So it was like they was trying to use the whole black part, I mean, the black empowerment type of thing as an excuse to go out there and do all this hoodlum type of BS just to support their lifestyle of do whatever we want to do because it's our time. They did whatever they wanted to do. Now we should do whatever we want to do. Anything that positively affects the white person, we want to tear it apart, take it and use it for our own means, but not for our people to be empowered as a whole. So he was like, man, when I realized they were just hoodlums out there trying to just make a statement, me and my girl was out of there. We was gone. And they had to sneak up out of there because it was like, it seemed like, okay, you've seen enough. You can't leave. It's like, whoa, what do you mean I can't leave? So it was, man, it gets heavy. Not saying it was not all, but most of these organizations fake like they're really about the people. Shout out to Black Lives Matter. Like they're really about the people, and then they start smelling that money, and they start seeing it flow in. Everybody's donating, everybody's millions. Oh my God, tens of millions. Oh my God, and then they get to their true selves where they started pushing that money right back into the organizations that really matter. So that's just my 2 pennies.
That's very, very accurate in the way how I see a lot of things, even like the financial space. Again, you know, like I'm in the financial space, same thing. The organization, this is just my personal opinion, right? So I just want to be very clear before I get a cease and desist. But my personal opinion is just that it's the same thing with like EYL, right? I joined them and initially was like this Black empowerment movement. Like we're going to help folks who look like us. So everything's going to be by us, for us, all this other stuff, right? All this talk, all this gibberish, and it sounds all good. And things start moving, and then the money gets involved, and you get corporations who's like, yo, I'm gonna sign you under this contract, and you're gonna have access to these celebrities. And now all of a sudden, it's not about the people anymore. Now it's more about how can we extract as much money from them through programs and make them believe that you can access this information because the white man, right? Isn't that the way they say it now? The white man is keeping this information from you. They're not speaking your language. They're not they don't look like you. They can't relate. They're not for the culture, but we are for the culture. Therefore, you should only listen to us. And they start brainwashing you. And next thing you know, you're sitting there like, this is dope. Steve Harvey's rocking with them. Kevin Hart's rocking with them. All these people are rocking with them. What do they really have to do with finance, though, technically?
Yeah.
I mean, it's their great podcast, great interviews, but what does that have to do with finance? It doesn't. It's just a way. It's like a funnel. It's just a way for you to click on that page and then pay for that program. And then you get embedded in this group. And then when you're in the group, you realize that the paying customers are the ones who really bring in value within the community because now they're teaching other paid customers. And when you sit back, you're like, wait a second. So this group is benefiting from y'all paying memberships, but y'all the ones who are really bringing the value to the members. But you're a paid member teaching another paid member. Why don't you just start your own free thing? Save your money. But no, they got to make you think, without me, you won't be able to get to this area. It's very interesting. So you have a very, very good point.
And if you pay extra, I might show up once a month to talk to everybody via Zoom.
And if I don't show up, how dare you complain?
But you know what?
How dare you complain?
Here's the thing, though, bro. And because it's framed to be such a positive thing, the first person that calls them out is deemed the hater of all haters. Like, come on, this is supposed to be about the people. It's in you telling them what's really going on in here. We supposed to talk about family business in the house. Why you? Listen, if they was really that bad, how come all of these people want to be a part of what they're doing? They on the Joe Budden podcast. They on Breakfast Club. They on this. They on that. Like they are. These dudes are really getting it. You can only be hating. You can only be hating.
Yeah. Yep. And I love these comments. It's like, well, look at you. You're still only at 6,000. Like your best video is still you calling out Red Panda. You haven't succeeded. Blah blah blah. It's like you're jealous because you're not them. I mean, yeah, all the time. It's funny, but it tickles me. I think it's funny because like you see how a lot of people are in this sunken place. These are the three main ones I always get. It's a black man holding another black man down. I always get those. Those are always those are great. And then it's always like, oh, we're the only community that does that where we bring each other down. And I'm like, you need to get out your little ecosystem, your echo chamber, and go look around because there's a lot of people calling out a lot of these other white scammers or Asian scammers on YouTube as well. It's just that you're just embedded in this one group that you think that it's only happening within there. No, the second one is like, I'm just jealous that I'm not at their level. And my response, I always laugh, is like, I mean, if being jealous is taking advantage of you and having you pay me money for basic information and then sugarcoat it and tell you I love you while I rape you, I mean, you know, if I'm jealous over that, okay, but no, I'm not. I'd rather just be truthful and transparent because I know I could definitely grow a lot more if I just start lying. That would be a lot easier.
Well, you know what? You can. And because honestly, this is the messed up part. I used to tell my sons this when they was growing up, and I told my daughter this too. I said, let me start with my daughter, my oldest daughter, 26 years old, in Florida, married and everything. Oh my heart. But I used to tell her this: if a guy is way too nice to you, don't trust him. She was like, what? I said, if he's too nice to you, don't trust him. Like, if he hasn't shown you a part of him that is, naturally him, and he's just always, oh, let me get the umbrella, let me get the door, let me get this, let me do this. Dude, all he's trying to do is just gain your favor. When is he going to show his true self? When you like mess up, when you show him that you're upset with him or that you don't appreciate all the good that he has been doing for you. Well, the thing is, a lot of times we get into a position, black people, we get into a position, bruh, where we have that slave mentality and we start to act like we are the righteous slave. We're the slave that's trying to help everybody. So why are you trying to get in the way and stop what we're trying to do? And you are the guy like, no, I'm letting y'all know that, we can do this with some integrity. We can do this with some character. We don't have to lie to our people in order to gain. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. But then everybody else that's already bought into it, the other little slaves, the other little minions, no, they gonna show us to the promised land. They know how to get us there. He lying. Don't listen to him. Look at them. They the ones with all the fruits and this and that. Well, go look at Africa. That's all I will tell you. Go look at Africa, right? We always talk about the motherland. Yeah. How many of us are moving back there versus how many of them are moving here? Okay. and here's the thing. And when you look at the amount of people who are actually rich in Africa and the people who are actually poor as in Africa, like it's not even close, man. So it's like you're trying to present them with something like, we can all eat, but we need to understand that we are being taken advantage of. And I'm not trying to poop on them. It's just, we shouldn't have to take advantage of each other in order for us to win, in order for us to eat. Like, we keep comparing ourselves to them. Well, guess what we're doing? We're doing exactly what our forefathers has taught us. They built the country off of stealing and killing. We're trying to build whatever we're growing off of stealing and killing. Now, we might not kill your flesh, but we're going to kill your pockets. We're going to kill your mentality, your spirituality, because all you had in the bank, you spent on us to give you some keys. Everybody talking about keys. I got some keys. Well, everybody keep on saying, I done paid $2,000 to join your daggone group. And I'm joined it for some keys. But when I joined it, all I'm seeing some old ass videos that you recorded on your way up. And I still ain't receiving no keys until I'm being upsold when I'm thinking that the $2,000 was all I had to pay. Now I'm like 4 more thousand in, and I still haven't received any keys. I'm still waiting. Oh, there's a VIP. I can pay $50,000 and be right next to you. Yeah, all I'm doing, even then, I'm a tag along. I'm riding with you on the way to the joint. I'm talking to you. You're not going to answer my questions like you're supposed to. But guess what? If I continue to pay you and feed your pockets, yeah, you're going to look out for me. Why? Because I'm paying you and feeding your pockets. So the people that's sitting right next to them, hip to hip, trust and believe, they have made tens of millions together. And if they haven't made money together, they're not dealing with them. And that's unfortunate. But it takes whistleblowers like yourself. I'm not going to call you a whistleblower. It takes now because that's how it comes off, though. Like if it definitely does. Yeah, everybody always come down on the person that's like, bro, what are you talking about? Why are you putting our business out there? Why are you telling about them? And they're the biggest people out there in our field who look like us, and you're talking about them. Why are you doing that? Like you be like, whoa. Sometimes you probably question yourself, like maybe I should be quiet. Maybe I should. Yeah, no,
I did. I was in that space for a while. I was like, maybe did I do this wrong? Because I burned bridges. But everything you said, you're a really smart dude, man. I don't think you give yourself enough credit, man. You are very smart dude, man. And I know you always give me that compliment on your channel. No, but I'm serious. Like, just because you've been on this journey, and and I know you've been learning a lot. I know you feel like, because you and I are similar age, right? We're in our 40s.
I'm 44. Yeah. 45 this month.
Oh,
March 25th. March 25th.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to remember. All right, I'm gonna try to remember and shoot you text. I'll give you a call, say what's up.
Thank you, brother.
I just turned 40 myself, but I was sick, so I was spent on the couch.
How you doing now,
but
man? You good?
I don't talk about it publicly. We talk about it afterwards. I'll tell you what's going on.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
all right. Handle your business.
But it's you have a very unique perspective, and I feel like because you start learning later on in your life, I sometimes feel like you just don't give yourself credit. But you should give yourself credit the fact that you were willing to, after all these years of you being instilled a certain way of thinking, for you to get out of that box and actually look at different perspectives. And that's what I'm real curious about, because you started a YouTube channel. It was all about music first. It was you reacting to music channels, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, what made you decide, I'm going to get in this conservative space, especially being a black man? And you know how people look at you and they're like, this Negro done went and became an Uncle Tom. Not even really knowing the story of Uncle Tom. We could go back and forth on that. But the fact is, you went into a very dangerous space as a black man during a time where conservatives were kind of considered the bad guys. I think they still are considered the bad guys in the mainstream media. But you literally, and again, I know you're not like a Republican, but you started looking at things and you're like, well, I don't actually agree with what this liberal narrative is. This kind of makes more sense. Like, why? Why'd you shift from I'm reviewing hip hop music and just music in general to I'm going to start doing this political stuff? Why?
Because honestly, first of all, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate the kind words, man. That mean a lot to me, because honestly, when it comes to intelligence, I talk to people like you and be like, wah, wah, wah. Okay, man, read some goddamn books because this brother is a genius. Nah, but no, seriously. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was progression, bro. Here's the thing. You try to get in this space, and I'm sure I'm about to say some stuff probably that you can relate to or may not. So you try to get into this space and you don't want to change a single stripe about yourself. You want to be, as you call it, when you say keeping it real, you want to keep it real. And me, that's my thing. Me being who I always was is very important to me. Is extremely important to me. So when I start hearing things like Uncle Tom and stuff like that, man, kiss my black ass. I don't care about that. And listen, even if you want to say it to me face to face, I ain't got no issue with you. But what you're going to do, you're going to hear me out. And what happens is I started out listening to rock. In order to grow on a reaction channel, just for people out there who are even considering starting a reaction channel, opposites attract. Okay. If you're going to start to do this, you need to profile yourself. You need to go out there, whatever you look like and wherever you're from, go to YouTube and find somebody who look like you that's doing the exact same thing as, I'm doing reactions, and look at who they're reacting to. 9 times out of 10, they're not reacting to anything that they grew up listening to. They're not reacting to anything that they grew up watching, because opposites attract. People want to see you finally come over into their culture, and they want to see if you're going to show appreciation for it, if you're going to be biased towards it, or if you're going to just give them a chance. Well, one thing I did was give them a chance. I'm checking out all this rock that I should have heard, because rock and roll, man, rock stars, unlike hip hop stars, rock stars will stop performing 10, 20 years ago, and their kids are still eating off of their music. I'm like, how in the hell is this happening? But rock, if you want to think about it, it's more white people in the country, and they want to be entertained by something that fits them the most and is being fed to them by somebody that look like them, and that's rock and roll. So here I am checking out rock and roll. I've never listened to rock and roll a day in my life. So people are looking at this black dude like, oh man, this is all right. So I'm listening to it and I'm giving it a chance, and I'm actually understanding that these dudes, they go into their guitar solos, and the people are like, Van, I know you like to talk, but when they go into their guitar solo, please, STFU. Let them rock. So I started doing that, and I'm listening to them and realize it's actual geniuses playing this music, man. Like, And there's so many rock bands, it's crazy. So the well never ran dry. So I'm listening to him, and I'm stepping. And what I didn't know, this is the thing. What you don't know is every single artist is its own community. Completely.
What do you mean by that?
People, okay, for instance, there's this gentleman by the name of Stevie Knight. Shout out to Stevie Knight. And No Life Shack. I don't know if y'all ever heard of these two, and Knox Hill. Those three huge. I'm talking about gigantic reaction channels. These dudes are making millions as a reaction channel, as using somebody else's daggone talents to say, yeah, I like it. And this is why. And these dudes are making a gang of money. The reason why is because they are all focusing on one artist. That one artist is Eminem. Well, No Life Shack, not so much now. He's doing whatever because he's at 3.5 million. But he built everything off of Eminem. Stevie Knight, Eminem. Knox Hill, Eminem. Because Eminem is his own ecosystem. He's the biggest white rapper ever. If you are white in America and you know one rapper, you know Eminem. So especially if you're liberal. If you're conservative, you don't like him because he said F Trump or something like that. But they're growing their communities off of Eminem alone. Me, I love Eminem. He used to be my number one, but I said, you know what? He can't be my number one. Why? Because I gotta put somebody in that spot that I resonate with the most, and that's Biggie Smalls. And it has something to do with our culture and our looks and everything, but it's not all that. But so I said that, and I lost all of Eminem's people. I lost all. They was like, you're racist and you're this and another. I'm like, word? That's how I go? Okay, I ain't gonna fight to keep you. Kiss my ass. Bye. So what happens is I started out with music. Then I went into other subgenres of the music. I went to country. And when you go into country, you realize that they're actually talking about the country. Their first love is the country. And they're singing about it. And they're singing about what's what's pure and what's whole and all those other things to them. And you're like, this is goofy, but I guess I got to learn it. They're talking about the Constitution. They're talking about all this other stuff. So then you're thinking that you're still in music, but you're actually in politics at that point. You're in politics. Like in rock, you're not. They're talking about their mom and drugs and all this other stuff. But when you get in the country, women, they're talking women, and they're talking in country. They're talking about country. They're talking about the actual country. So how I was able to navigate that was just understanding. Like I lead with love, and I try to give people the benefit of the doubt until they take it back. And as soon as they take it back, it's done. But I gave country music a try. And when I gave country music a try, it made sense for me to give politics a try because I was already in politics. It's just they're not singing it now. So when I started doing that, I was just listening to people opposite of me, opposite of a natural born liberal who read a book called The Spook That Sits by the Door, a person that joined the CIA, but he was a part of the Black Panther Party, and he was in the CIA trying to learn every single thing that they could possibly teach him. But he played the role, and in his hood, they called him a coon. They called him a token Negro. They called him all types of names because he cut off his mustache. He dressed properly. He spoke the Queen's English. He did every single thing they wanted him to do. He learned karate. He learned how to shoot guns. He learned how every single thing the CIA could teach him. But then he took all of that knowledge back to the Black Panther Party, and he taught them karate. He taught them how to shoot guns all across the United States of America. So he was the spook that sat by the door. Me, I called myself doing the same thing. So 12 years ago, I registered as a Republican, but I still voted Democrat. I said, I'm going to sneak in there, and I'm going to sneak. They're going to think they got a registered Republican in here, but I'm still going to do everything as a Democrat. And I did that. Like, and what's wild is on my channel, I tell them all the time who are mostly conservative people. I'd be like, God damn, I cannot believe I voted for Biden. And they'd be like, what do you mean you voted for Biden? I said, I never lied to y'all. I never lied to y'all. I'm from Southeast DC. I was always for the people. I was a part of certain organizations that was just like the Black Panther Party. Only thing is, I'm open-minded, I'm objective, and I'm trying to learn. That's it. If you can teach me something that's worth taking back home to my family to make us better, then I'm all with it. But I'm not going to be a meat rider. I'm not going to be on no coattails for no money at all. If I think this makes sense, that's where I'm going. If it doesn't make sense, I'm out. I'm out. But I did vote for Biden because all I looked at was MSNBC and CNN. I didn't look at Fox. Why? Because they put too much stankiness and too much funkiness on conservative anything. Like if you go look at Fox, then you just nasty. Because we already told you that they nasty. If you go over their house and eat, when we already told you that we saw roaches and rats over there, then you just nasty. But then when you say, you know what, I'm going to go over there anyway. I ain't think about them. I'm going to go see for myself. And you see that there's no roaches on the floor. You see there's no mice. You see that things are prim and proper. They're opening doors for you. They're offering you lemonade and and they just like, so what's going on with you? And they're not trying to pander. They're not like, listen, brother, we want to do everything for you because you're black and we want to touch your hair and we want to, everything you say is right. No, they're challenging me. And that's what white liberals are doing. White liberals are saying everything you say is right and they are wrong. And yes, you're oppressed. And no, you can't vote because it's difficult for you to receive your ID. And we're going to take you to the NBA and we're going to come out to your house. We're going to give you hugs. Why? Because your family went through slavery. 16, 19. Don't ever forget. Don't ever forget. So that's what's happening right now. Everybody's pandering to win over a certain group, and it's all about money, bruh. It's all about other things that have nothing to do with us moving along as society as a whole. It's all about dramatization. We are playing one side or the other, and I'm tired of playing sides, to be honest with you. Like, that's why I don't like politics. I say that all the time on my show, and people get pissed off at me for saying that because politics is everything to them. Politics is like the first sport for them. Yeah. Like when they used to put on the white wigs and debate and all that other stuff. I'm like, that's some gay stuff. No disrespect. but I'm
going to get me demonetized.
Listen, I'm trying to be respectful and I apologize for running my mouth, but it's just a long, if we were sitting here talking about this whole thing with reactions and why I'm doing politics right now, I will be all day. And I'm trying to bring it in, and I'm horrible at this. My wife already say I'm horrible at communications, which I am. I'm trying to be better. Yeah, I got an abusive wife, but she's amazing. I'm sure
you are terrible at communicating. I don't care that you have over 700,000 subscribers. You are terrible at communicating.
She says that all the time, brother. But you know, it is what it is. But here's one thing. Here's the one takeaway. The one takeaway is opposites attract. And so I honed in on that and I led with love. I taught my son how to do it. My son's channel started growing like crazy. Then I taught my daughter how to do it. Her channel grew past my son's channel and she was getting too much attention as a beautiful young lady. And she was like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel right. I'm not doing it anymore. And she completely walked away from it, demonetized her own daggone. She only had her channel up for like 2 to 3 months and it hit 20,000 subscribers. And we wasn't even saying, go and watch Naya. Go and watch Naya. No, they was already over there. And she was like, this is too much because you already know it's a whole bunch of damn pervs out there. They don't want to be a part of what you're doing. Everybody got an angle. I don't trust hardly anyone. That's probably why I'm not as rich and wealthy as I possibly can be. But it's also why I'm not broke. Because if I trusted everyone, then I will open up all of these thousands of emails that I get on a daily basis. I don't get thousands of emails. So I'm just trying to make a point.
I know. Yeah, it's just analysis.
But when these emails saying, yo, let's do business together. This is how we can make some money. Blah, blah, blah. I get so many of those. And I'm like, delete, 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 delete. Because that's not what I'm about, bro. And a lot of these are scammers. A lot of these are scammers like hell. And I'm not about to risk what I'm trying to build and just for the sake of a quick dollar, man. And a lot of people need to grab hold to that. That's why when I watch your videos, bro, you have a different type of way of, for one, most people who are in the financial space will probably call, man, this dude is crazy as hell. How does he have how is he giving people financial tips, but he's telling people not to hire financial experts? How you telling people to do it yourself? How you telling people it's going to be hard? How you telling people they're going to lose money first? You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that. How you're telling people your own failures. You're telling people that I've invested in this and I failed at it, but I invested in that and I won at it. And matter of fact, I'm gonna show you everything that I was doing. They like, dude, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to bring them behind a paid wall.
Yeah.
And still don't tell them, and then upsell them a book or another course, or upsell them something like a VIP package for $5,000, $10,000, and then you almost tell them. You still don't tell them, but you're like, nah, I'm telling you everything. But what you're doing, man, I love it. Hopefully people see it the way I see it, because you're building some type of trust between your people, and they are looking at you as the expert. Because when I read your comment section, people say, yo, I was waiting for you to break this down. Oh, and they mean that. They mean that.
Man, I do hope that people see what I'm trying to do. I don't think it's, you can't please everybody. That's the thing too. Like, you're in the space and you switched up your content. You're very political, and I'm sure you get some hate too. You can't please everybody, right? But you look at the majority of how they feel. Are you making a difference?
Right. Well, you know what? You do get some hate, but it's like a speck. It's like a speck. Mm-hmm. It's like the one time where your wife has an attitude when you want to do something nice. It's like, or the one time when you have an attitude when she's trying to do something nice, and then the evening is ruined. But for the most part, but for the most part, the reason why y'all are together, raising a family together, is because y'all are happy. Y'all are doing things for each other that nobody else would do. Y'all trust one another. It's like so much other goodness that comes with it. So yeah, I get the hate every now and again, but not enough to broadcast. But Mark, guess what? I broadcast it. Why? Because those are some of my biggest damn videos. So you know the moves. I get nothing but love all day long on every single platform. Every platform, nothing but love. But that one email I get, I'm like, I cannot believe.
So sorry for the cut there, everybody. We had some technical difficulties with StreamYard. Y'all need to get together. If y'all want to take over Zoom, y'all need to get it together. I used to be on Zoom, and then I was like, well, StreamYard just seems a lot easier. You just send the link. You don't have to worry about updating the application. But we're struggling. We were struggling there for a second. But back to our conversation. I think we were on a roll too. We were on a good roll. We were having a good conversation. All right. So you switched up. You switched up your content, doing the opposite, knowing that would actually attract views. So that was a strategic move. That was planned. It wasn't like you just happened to stumble upon it. You just kind of knew, like, let me try this and see what happens. And I think people will resonate with it because I'm doing the opposite of what I'm usually used to.
It was planned, and it was by accident. It was just me reading the field. That's it. That was it. I mean, it was me reading the field, because at this point, I'm doing YouTube full time, and I'm trying to do whatever is working in the favor of the channel. So that's what's happening, man. I saw that it was getting numbers. I saw that people were communicating about it. People were debating about it in the comment section. Like, the engagement was crazy. I'm like, I haven't seen this before. Like, unless I posted like a really viral music reaction video where people are nothing but in an echo chamber or something like that. But me, I like to see a boatload of people who don't agree with each other, just going at it, just debating, just fighting. You know what I mean? I like that.
At what point did you see a drastic shift in subscriber growth?
Between 200 and 700. Well, actually, we had different moments. Um, and hold on one second. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked because I can go ahead to the lifetime. Let me switch accounts and I can show you this because this is no, I'm not. No, somebody popped up on a daggone thing and just started running their daggone mouth. So, but it actually ticked up far more when I started doing politics. So you're absolutely right. When I started doing politics, people was like, whoa, this is nuts. We need to do this. And what happened is the reactions world on YouTube is a copycat league. And brother, every single reactor started doing freaking politics. Every single, I'm like, come on, bro. I'm just trying to try something new that works for us only. And everybody started doing it, but I'm not a hater. I'm like, let's go. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. I mean, you want people out in the court. You don't want to be out there shooting shots by yourself. You want to get some competition. You want to play. You know what I mean? You can learn stuff that way. But with politics, it really ticked up, man. It just took off. And next thing you know, we're being invited on channels to talk and don't know a damn thing about politics. But we're learning in the process. Yeah. And that's what's important.
Yeah, because people are actually following your growth within the space. They're like, oh, he's being exposed to this narrative versus this narrative. It's like, oh, he's seeing the truth here. Well, CNN said this, but then I read this one article that says something different. And then, you kind of follow that trend. My question for you, though, do you feel like because you switched, I mean, you went from being a hardcore liberal to now being introduced more to some conservative views, and you're like, oh, I can relate to this. But do you feel like you've potentially gone down this echo chamber within the conservative space? Do you feel like you went from this one sector of people and box to like another box? Or do you feel like you're kind of just overall free?
I went from one box to another. In my search for freedom, because I was trying to find my freedom. In my search for freedom, that went right. In my search for freedom, I actually ended up in another trap, and I'm trying to find my way out of that. And what happens is I always screw up my channel by trying to find my way out of a trap. Always, every single time, I end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. But can I show you something that I really that I would other than the
Sure, I got you.
All right, cool. All right, so I want to show you this right here because this shows you the uptick and what actually happened on the channel. So excuse me. So as you can see, I started doing reactions on January 20th, 2021, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had like five subscribers at that point, 5 views anyway. But when I started going in, like around my birthday, I had like 10,000. But then I really started rolling. And around August, August of 2022, as you can see, it just went nuts. But it started climbing up at that around probably May 1 of 2022. And that's when I was doing politics heavy. But around August, it shot up. Then the systems always equal themselves out after a while. And that's what it's doing now. So it's kind of bringing itself back to a little balance, to a little dance, you know what I mean? And that's where we are right now.
Yeah, that kind of looks like a Tesla chart, to be honest. It's like skyrocketing and it kind of went down and started to find its way.
Yeah.
As leveling up. But I could imagine as a content creator, when you were at that high and then you start seeing the decline, I'm sure you got a little nervous and started questioning yourself a bit.
Yeah, it got scary. It got scary. It got scary. It's good, because just like anything, like when people start seeing a little bit of success and they're not used to that level of success. It's like we don't know how to do the positive, and we don't know how to deal with the negative. Meaning that when the money comes in, we don't know to put away this and put away that and do this with it and do that with it. We don't know that. We're like, oh, so this is where we are now. This is our new level. Let's go. Let's party. Let's spend money. Let's because it's never going away. Not realizing that you just shifted into a space based off the work that you put in. But just like it was before, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up. It's like any other market. So it is what it is, man.
Do you feel like your space has been oversaturated though?
No. To be honest with you, no. And reason why I say that is because I would much rather there are regular folk out there posting and giving true opinions or doing real research from an individual standpoint and feeding that to their public rather than us constantly cutting on a paid for. Like these people are bought, politicians and CNN, all these other people, all of them, where they're just paid to feed just one narrative. They know the truth, but they're going to feed this. Like if something happens, I was looking on Fox one time and something positive happened with Biden. And I was looking on Fox and I'm like, I don't see anything about it. I don't see anything. I'm looking on Fox. They didn't report on it. And I'm like, are you surprised? Something positive happens for Trump. Looking on CNN and MSNBC, you don't see nothing about it. You're not going to see anything about it. You're not. It's in everybody's playing that one game where they are to feed their echo chamber. We can all, like you, for instance, you can play the game and you can run it up. You can run it up because honestly, at the end of the day, them people that's inside of your comment section, they're not paying your bills. They're not. And do you think that the owner of 7-Eleven give a damn about anybody that come in there buying gas, hot dogs, Jamaican beef patties, pizzas, Slurpees? They don't care. People that come up in Walmart and Target, they don't care about them people. People that go up in Safeway, Giant, Whole Foods, Walgreens, they don't care. People that come through them banks to deposit their money, or they got direct deposit coming from their bank account. These banks don't care about any of these people. They just care about doing with your money what they will with your money. That Brinks truck is going to pull up, get that money, and start taking to different places and do this, then the other. They got a plan for your money. They don't care about the people. So you can make that decision too, not to care about the people, and just run it up and be like, look, I'm never going to meet these people. My family, I got a goal for myself, and we're going to run it up. But that's when you get into that mindset, you start to really excel financially, like EYL and many other people in that space, or any space that they decide to run it up. But you're not happy. You're not whole. It's like it's something missing. It's, at least if you're a good person, there's something missing. If you're just a bad person, you're just out there eating and just like, hey, whatever. Like it was this one rapper by the name of Lil Baby. Lil Baby. He mumbles whenever he talks.
Yeah.
But he can rap. I like the youngin' because my son introduced me to him, and people call him mumble rapper, whatever. But anyway, so his job is to feed the sex appeal of the streets to the world. People who never have to live in that darkness, they want to live in that darkness through him. It's no different from watching a Quentin Tarantino movie, where you ain't got to go shoot anybody in the face, but you can watch somebody shoot somebody in the face and you can get something out of it. You don't have to go learn karate or how to swing swords, but you can watch somebody else do it and you can get a whole bunch of satisfaction out of it. Well, Lil Baby got to a point where he's so super daggone rich. He's like, man, I feel bad for feeding the community all the negativity that I'm feeding them through my music. And I apologize for that. And I'm going to try to do better. And that right there is something that people usually see, but they don't see it on their way up. They see it on when they're already at the top, and they're forced to listen to their thoughts. They're forced to hear themselves out. And unfortunately, you know what I mean? I would say, back to your point, I mean, back to what you were saying, yes, I want more regular people reporting the news rather than people who are bought and paid for to report the news. But I'm hoping that the regular people who are reporting the news can be honest while doing so. Will that happen? No, because they're going to start to see some money hit their account, and they're going to start to love it. And they're going to feed the echo chamber, whoever their echo chambers are. They're going to learn how to feed that, and that's all they're going to do. So people are messed up. What can I say? People are messed up.
I agree with you on that, because especially like in a finance sector. Yeah, did you hear about the whole FTX situation with that crypto exchange that almost every single financial literacy YouTube channel was promoting? FTX was like, I mean, celebrities were involved. They had commercials on TV. They had a stadium named after them. I mean, it was a huge deal, right? It ended up being a scam. People lost millions of dollars, like millions gone, just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did somebody get arrested for that? Or no?
Yeah, the actual guy who started the FTX company. Like everything about him was fraud. He just, I mean, he played the system so well. And he was also paying politicians, right? He was publicly supporting Biden and the Liberal Party. He would donate a lot of money there. Now, after he got arrested, he spoke about it. He's like, I also paid Republicans, but I did it through the dark way, right? Where it wasn't seen, because he said he knew that if people would see him paying or donating money to the Republicans, he would be considered evil. So therefore, he would publicly donate money to the the liberals, but underneath the table, he would donate money to the Republicans. And I think a lot of people looked the other direction until everything fell apart and people lost thousands of dollars. There's going to be a Netflix special, I'm sure, is going to be attached to this story. But course. Like Kevin O'Leary, you know, the guy from Shark Tank, he invested a lot of money in there, lost it. Football players. I mean, it was bad. It's just, It was really ugly. But a lot of these YouTubers got a lot of flack, because again, these are YouTubers in the finance space who are giving financial advice, but not really, because they don't have any licenses. And if you do actually have financial licenses like Series 7 and et cetera, you have rules and regulations you have to follow by, and you can't actually give financial advice on the web. So it's a really weird space in the finance sector. Like anybody could put up a camera, microphone like myself and talk about finance. That's what I do, right? And you have zero accountability. But these channels have grown to 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. These Meet Kevins, the Graham Steffans, the Andre Jake, all these really huge names. And then they start taking sponsorships and they quit their jobs. And this is their life now. This is their career. And they took the sponsorship and then it backfired and they lost a lot of credibility. And it took a lot of flack for it, because again, they're supposed to be the people in the finance space who have an edge over you and I, and they should know more. And it really showed that they don't really know much. They're just an average person too, just talking about stocks on the camera like me and you, or like you and I having a conversation. But I don't think they understood the power that they held for their audience by taking these sponsorships and doing these certain deals. But again, I understood, like, yo, you guys should have probably done your due diligence a little bit more. Right. I mean, this one, FTX was a little hard, so I have mixed feelings about it. But they should have done due diligence, because they were taking additional sponsorships down the line that also end up being fraud or kind of scammy or grifterish or whatever you want to call it. And they just lost so much credibility. But when you look at what is their job is to feed the YouTube algorithm. Their job is to continue to make money off of YouTube, because this is their livelihood now. YouTube is their boss. So you're gonna take these sponsorships, because the sponsorships probably pay a lot more than relying on just Google AdSense, because just like this, they can take your stuff and demonetize you. And you are kind of in that space as well, because you at one point quit your job. You had a DoD job. Yes. You started a YouTube channel. It started taking off. You seen the money come in. And did you quit your job at the height, or was it like on the way up, or on the way down?
On the way up. On the way up.
Yeah. And I can only imagine was like, all right, I quit my. Was it a career? Did you consider it a career?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was. I was an environmental protection specialist working under nothing but engineers, environmental engineers, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers. And I just did the grunt work and also did white collar. My job was half white collar, half blue collar, and so I dealt with the blue collars hand to hand, and I dealt with the white collars, and yeah, anything with finances. I dealt with finances too. Any money that needed to be spent for any type of contracts came through me. I had to make sure that I did all that.
But I understand, like you were unhappy with what you were doing, though, right? For the most part, like it didn't satisfy you 100%.
Well, I owed debt on credit cards, and my credit was poor, and I was trying to figure out a way to put myself in a better position, and I signed up for a program that I can pay in on, and it will just take care of all of my things that was making my debt so horrible. And it was just going slow as hell, man. So I was just trying to figure out other ways. So I started doing managing properties for people. I started doing Lyft. I started driving Lyft while working there. And I started just really paying attention to side hustles, just trying to figure out a way to get out of that rat race, man. And so yeah, I was actually happy with my job. I was I was the man at work, bro. I was starting choirs at work on a daggone army installation. I was starting choirs. I was singing at breakfast, prayer breakfasts. Every single time there was a party or something, Van will do this. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I was super popular. I loved my job, actually. It was dope. Making $97,000 a year, getting, and which wasn't a whole lot, getting all of the benefits from the federal government.
Correct, yeah.
And my wife was making more than me, but I had somewhere to go every day. You know what I mean? It was good, but being that I was a college dropout, I couldn't get the next level.
You couldn't promote because you need certain criteria at one point, regardless how good your skills are. They're like, well, for this GS job, you need a degree with this many years of experience. Yes. So you were kind of limited on your growth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I was always under the assumption that you didn't like your job, but you actually liked your job.
Yeah, I like my job, man.
But I guess, like you were saying, you made some terrible financial decisions, but now you see this opportunity with YouTube. And so why'd you quit?
I quit because I figured I started making money during YouTube. And when I started making money, I was like, whoa, this year I made like $50,000 doing YouTube. Imagine if I did this full time. So I did it full time, and along with my job, because I'm making this at my job, and then I'm making $50,000 extra on YouTube, and that's just Google AdSense, not counting all the donations and Patreon and all this merch. And so I done paid my daggone debt off. $30,000 paid off, done. Like, God damn, really? Imagine if you did this full time, bro, you'll be good. So I did it full time. First year doing this, I made probably like $48,000 loss. Like, I was like, whoa. I was barely able to pay my producer. He was being paid at that time $2,000, $2,500 or something like that. And he was actually getting more money than I was getting because I was still making sure I paid him. I was paying my producer, and I wasn't even bringing in that much. So it was difficult. It was very difficult, bro. But I was still running the play because at this point I'm retired now, and I'm too much of a man to say this ain't work. I'm going back to work. Nah, I said, you know what? People already know that I'm out here doing this. And it was just ego. I should have gone back to work, but I didn't. I stuck in it. And by me sticking in it, it forced me to man up. It forced me to start studying the platform. It forced me to start really paying attention to analytics and teaching other people. And while teaching other people, I was learning, because when my son used to play basketball and he used to try to learn certain things about shooting form and whatnot, he was just a little awkward when it came to that. But I said the best way to do this is to teach somebody else. And that didn't resonate to him, but he started doing it. And next thing you know, he started sinking them shots. He started shink. I'm like, whoa, what's different? He said I was teaching other people how to do it. And next thing you know, I started doing it. But so I stuck in there, bro. And by the grace of God, man, stuff turned around and I was able to start making some real good money. And
the story you just told me, and I want to ask you a serious question. Do you regret leaving that job?
do I what?
Do you regret leaving that job?
Hell no. Hell no.
Okay.
Oh my gracious, no. Oh Lord, no. Oh Jesus, no. Because honestly, I had to once I don't function well when I have regrets, bro. I just don't, man. If I decide to run a play, I'm in it. I gotta run it. Period.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I had them thoughts though. I was about to
yeah, no, especially
when you send out that text like, you think you can try to get me back up in there, but nah.
No, I'm because I'm glad it worked out for you, and even though like you had the peak and you're going kind of out, you're still doing very well. Regardless, you're still doing very well. And you're still putting out good quality content. I find you extremely entertaining. Like I said, I found you, and we just end up linking on IG, which is funny, but yeah, we just connected. You did really well when you started doing this full time, though, right? And I know it has kind of sucked though, right? A little bit that the fact that like YouTube is kind of like your boss. You're your own businessman, but YouTube determines sometimes like how much money you make, how much dollars gets I guess allocated towards your type of content and stuff like that. So it is somewhat scary at times. I saw Twitch streamers who apparently on Twitch I heard used to pay really well, right? The creators were getting paid really well, and they switched it up, didn't they? Because you're on Twitch as well, right?
Yeah, even on Twitch, all of them are switching it up, man, because there's a lot of people out there just trying to make some money.
Yeah, and one of the hacks, because the reason I started doing some of these reaction videos was because of you, and thank you. I really did enjoy it. It was easy to do. It was fun. I don't think it worked necessarily too much in my niche, but I didn't keep it consistent either. So I can't really say that. But I know you drop so many videos a day, right?
I try to.
What, about like four videos a day about minimum?
I try to between 3 and 4. I try to drop. Yeah.
Monday through Sunday?
Usually Monday through Friday. Sometimes we'll go to weekend and drop probably one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Be honest with you.
Have you heard of toxic productivity?
Toxic productivity, no, but it doesn't sound sexy.
Yeah, because everything has like basically a name for everything, but
yeah,
it's to the point where you work so much, right? You're constantly working, you're constantly trying to put out content, you always constantly try to be creative, to the point that when it's time for you just to chill, like on the weekend, hey, let's just chill, that sometimes your body or in your mind is like, you get anxious, it puts you in a bad mood. It's like, I have to do something. If I don't do this today, if I don't shoot a video today, if I don't touch this topic today, my day's ruined. I wasted time. I can't just relax. Are you in that space because how much you drop Monday through Friday and even sometimes on the weekend? Because we're shooting this on the weekend right now.
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, okay? I think that if there's something you really want in life, you need to put in that work right now. A sense of urgency needs to be on all of us if something is important to us, period. And that's why the indoctrination of schools, in my opinion, is important at some stages of our lives, because if we don't dedicate ourselves to doing something, most of us don't have that capacity to be able to dedicate ourselves to really do the same task day in, day out, and move closer to whatever goals that we want to have. Most of us don't even have goals. So back to us specifically, working is the way that we're in the gym. Like, this is our gym. And even if it works or it doesn't, we're learning, and we're getting better and better and better at what we do. Like my wife says, I'm not a great communicator. But some people will say, yo, you communicate on a daily basis. This is what you do for a living. So you are a communicator. Yeah, I'm a talker. I'm a talker. I can pretty much describe what I'm listening to and throw it back at you. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But it's just me reviewing stuff. But this has nothing to do with me listening to someone and actually, giving them a shot and understanding what they're saying. So it's all a part of my growth process. And if I don't do this, then I will be the failure that I'm not going to damn be. Like, it's for me, it's succeed or nothing else. That's it. That's it. And I got to do this. It's like, I don't care to be a regular person at all. I don't. I feel like my life, I've gone through enough that I want to see what it's like on that side where people are just able to just live and able to just breathe and not worry, and their kids have every single thing that they need and want. Their wife, I want to be able to retire my wife. As hard as she works, I want to be able to bring her home. But if she's making between 150 and 200,000 a year, and I'm just sitting on my ass and I'm like, I'm just going to put in 2 hours here, 2 hours there, I'm not going to bring her home like that. But the reason why I want to do that is because I really feel like she deserves it. So toxic productivity is going to have to be my thing, at least for the next 5-10 years. And guess what? I'm cool with it, because we're built to do things. We're built to do far more than we do on a daily basis. That's why the regular old Joe, like if I would have went to the military, I would have been able to get in, like be able to wake up at a certain time of day, I eat a certain amount of meals, work my ass off, and try to be competitive, and I will look a different type of way right now. I will have a different posture right now, but I probably would have adopted other traits that might not been good, or I might have adopted something that would have been. Who knows? But in this lane, toxic productivity, I don't know.
That's a word.
Is that what you said? Toxic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's gonna have to be my thing, bro. Like it just is. But here's the one downside. At this level where we are right now, I'm letting people down because there's so many people who want to work. There's so many people who want to record. There's so many people who want to be in this space. So on the days that I do decide to dedicate to my family, like yesterday and Friday, because Friday and Saturday, I said, babe, this is about you. Like me and you, we're going to be together. We're going to be chilling. We're going to be doing something together. I don't care what it is. I'm not going downstairs doing any videos unless you decide to retire to bed early and I still got some energy. Then I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to get it in. But other than that, it's all about you. But guess what? If I'm thinking like a pure businessman and someone who really is trying to get closer to my goal, then I wouldn't even given her that. I would have said, look, I'm going to chalk out 2 hours for you, and the rest of my time will be spent doing what I do. And that's what sometimes I kick myself in the butt for not doing that, for not like going super hard in the paint. But the times that I do have that I spend with my wife when where I could be working, I'm really appreciative of those times, man. And I think she is too. So I think it's healthy to make sure to force time away from us constantly working and whatnot. But I also think it's healthy for us to train ourselves to be in that uncomfortable mode of working and growing and just challenging ourselves and chasing wins, but learning from failures every single day, man. And that's where I am right now. I got to do this or I'm not going to win. I'm not going to lose at this, because at this point, I'm not that good with money. I'm not that good with money, to be honest with you. And the reason why I bring that up is, being that I'm not that great with money, I put myself in an even
more vulnerable state.
Yeah, by having the money. So now, before I started getting getting the money I've been getting, I probably had $5,000 worth of bills every month, probably 5,000.
And you live in like DC, right? area. So
yeah, in the DC area, and
and
it's,
that's
you know what I mean. And
pretty expensive. That's why, like, early when he said not you were getting paid $96,000, people probably like, that's a lot of money, man. But in your area, that's actually not right. That's actually considered mid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And in the mid, it's the low mid.
Yeah.
Low mid. Like, because my wife she was making pretty good money then. So with us collectively, you know what I mean? But we got 4 children, and they're all at certain age, certain stages of their lives where they need this and they need that. And my youngest daughter is about to go to college, and the college that she wants to go to just so happens to be the college that's a private school that don't accept don't accept
scholarships and stuff, and grants,
scholarships from everywhere. Like, they only accept certain scholarships. So at the end of the day, we're going to be paying between 15 and 20,000 a year, regardless, after all the scholarships. But anyway, the reason why I brought that up is because I put myself in a situation by having the money, and now I've gone from $5,000 a month of bills to probably like between 8 and 10,000. Just bills, just fucking bills. Some people don't bring that home per month, period. Like, but this is my bills. So I gotta go hard because I put myself in this space. And guess what? I'm comfortable in this space. I love it. Like, it's the day-to-day drive and just pushing yourself and knowing that, if you do, you'll receive. If you don't, you won't. And being that I have been doing this, it's been taking a toll on my physical because I haven't been spending a whole lot of time in the gym. I used to spend a great deal of time in the gym. I haven't been. Sometimes I don't eat as much as I want to, but when I do, I eat like hell. Sometimes I don't smoke as much weed. That's a positive. I don't drink as much liquor. That's a positive. I'm communicating way better than I ever have. That's a positive. But I'm missing out on emails, DMs, time that people are like paying for. Like, it's just so much that goes along with this. I'm just trying to be a better person, and it's a process. And
productivity.
Damn. What is it?
Toxic productivity.
Toxic productivity is my thing now. It's part of my thing now. So it is what it is.
No, man, I love it. I know a lot of celebrities they get in that space of like toxic productivity. And the only reason I'm bringing it up because I'm hearing more and more people talking about it. And I started looking at myself, and I'm wondering, like, am I doing too much? Even because every day I feel like I did not do enough. That's how I feel. Whether it's content, whether it's school, whether it's work, whether it's my kids, whether it's my wife, I never feel like I accomplish enough throughout the day. And we live in such a short span of time. If you really think about it, the average person lives with like 72 or something, 75, and we're past that half year mark, right? So that all starts messing with my psyche. But before, I would say where my family was never priority. When I was in the military, it was never priority. My job was always priority, first and foremost. And once COVID happened, and I actually had to sit in my house, I actually realized, like, me and my wife, we actually like each other. Most people during that time actually got divorced. If you look at statistics, like, there was a lot of domestic violence, people were getting divorced left, right, or people were having a bunch of babies. But they're like, I couldn't do my job. But that was the first time that I also literally valued family time. Right. And I realized, like, man, like, doesn't matter how much money I make, it doesn't matter how good I'm at work. I feel like I was a failure and it's not enough. And like, my family should come first and foremost, and experiences should come first and foremost.
Right.
Because if we live in a hustle culture. That's the one thing, like in America, it's all about hustle. How much money can you make? How rich can you get, and etc. In Europe, where I grew up, it was always family first. How much time you spend with your family, stuff like that.
Right.
So now I'm trying to figure out this balance of how do I still be, a good husband, a good father, a good content creator. How can I be the GOAT at my job? Because I like my job. I really do. Right. And it's a balance I struggle with every single day. And I always feel like I didn't accomplish enough. And let it be like, I don't go to the gym in the morning because I get up at 4:30, between 4 and 4:30, depending. how I can get out of bed. Yeah, sometimes as a four, I'm like, let me sleep another half an hour or so. But that was my routine before I ended up in the hospital a couple of weeks ago. Get up 4:30. I work out. I get back home around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. See my kids. Then my day is already ruined because they're always fighting in the morning and they go to school. And it's like, so much for this. But I actually enjoy those moments. I enjoy seeing my kids go to school because there would be times for weeks where I wouldn't see my family. We live in the same house, but I come home when they're all sleeping. I sleep when they're all up. I
Yeah.
get up when they're sleeping. It was like,
Yeah.
so we're in the same household, but we don't really see each other.
Yeah.
And I missed a lot of them growing up. And now, I spend times doing long form interviews. I do a lot of shooting content, and that takes hours sometimes. And I feel again like, man, did I just replace the military with this?
Right.
Like it's a hard balance. And at the end of the day, I'm not making serious money on YouTube. I would love to, but it's not my priority. And I see how hard you go. And sometimes I'm like, man, am I not doing enough? It's like this man literally drops 4 or 5 videos a day. Like I'm like, what am I doing? I drop maybe like one a week now. Try to put more, I respect what you do. That's the reason I was asking about the toxic productivity, because I've heard that when you go so hard consistently, people like The Rock, Kevin Hart, they just can't sit at home. And if they do sit at home, it's like they can't focus on the moment with your family. And that's the reason I was just wondering if you've been hit with that or
when I find time for my family, bro, it's very difficult for me to answer texts, for me to answer emails, for me to answer DMs. None of that. I cannot sit down, watch a movie with my wife, and still be flipping through IG, still be looking at my phone. My phone is the computer at this point, and it's on another couch. I'm tossing that bad boy. It's over there. Mm-hmm. It's over, but it's necessary though. Like I have to cut off the world in order to enjoy my wife and my kids. Have to. It's a necessity. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. I mean, because your kids are still younger.
My kids are younger. Yeah. I have one teenage kid, but yeah, my kids are still younger. And I used to be in this mindset. It was like hustle as much as you can in the beginning stages, make as much money as you can, and then enjoy at the end, right?
Right.
And the same thing with like saving in the financial sector is like, be frugal as long as you can, and then enjoy the fruits of your labor when you're older, when you're, 60. And then you come across people that you meet who've done that. They retire and they're like, man, I got $2 million in the bank account. I'm about to enjoy this life. And they die next year.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, was it worth it? Or this is a true story. I have my homie, his wife, her father was huge on being frugal. His wife never worked. She was a stay-at-home mom, but he would, make shit ton of good money. Houses paid off, cars paid off. He would he would shop always at like thrift stores and stuff for her. She had a flip phone still, like just trash phone. And he's like, we're not upgrading. His whole thing is like, when I retire, we're gonna enjoy life. He retires. 3 years later, he dies. A year after that, the mom gets sick, dies.
And man,
they never got to enjoy this life that he was preparing for like 30, 40 years. And so you're in a space where you're like, man, especially when you and I get old. I don't know if you ever think about death or this life. I do. I don't know why. My wife's always like, why do you always think about that stuff? It's just I do. I don't know why. I'm scared of death, and I never want to live my life without a purpose.
I understand that. I get it, man. I will tell you this though, Mark. My purpose is my family. That's my purpose. My wife, she is that's my dog. She is happy. She walks through her, she don't have to leave the house. She's in like the home that she always wanted to be in. She don't ever want to leave it. And as long as she's good, I'm good. If she was to come down here right now and be like, what you doing? You want to watch something? Yep. Mark, it was nice talking to you, brother. I'm about to go watch something. Like it's one of them type of things because I made sure that I've given my all to my kids. I've given my all to my wife. My kids know me to be in your face, super goofy. Like this moment is all about us. Like you're going to remember this moment. Like you're not going to be able to say that you and dad didn't have moments. We are going to have moments, and we don't have to be in Cabo to do it, Jamaica to do it, Italy to do it. Like we're right here. I'm here. What's going on? But that's just me. That's honestly, it's just me. Why? Because I didn't have my father around to do those type of things. When he pulled up, he came around probably once a year. And when he came around, he had some cookies for me and my brothers. And he'd call us my nose, my toes, and my weasels. That's what he would say. And we would see him once a year. And we were like, I'm not your damn weasels. You're his weasels. That must be his asshole or something. I don't even know what weasels are, but he's called us my nose, my toes, and my weasels. Once a year is when we see him. And he lived in DC. He lived right around the corner from us. We never seen him. And when we saw him, when we did see him, he was in and he was out. Me, I told my kids that would never be never be the issue. Ever. Ever. So my family is everything, man. So, but at right now, I'm in hustle mode. They're like, dad is trying to get it. And sometimes I will deny them of their time, but I make it back up to them on the back end. I've never denied them of the newest gadgets, whatever they needed in school, whatever they wanted for school. None of that, man. But they know that daddy always was different. I grew up wanting to be Bobby Brown. Then I wanted to be Kenny Babyface Edmonds. Like I always wanted to do something in the entertainment field. I always wanted to be rich and famous, and it never happened for me. God knew that I wouldn't have been able to handle that type of lifestyle, and He blessed me with a family. But He still put me in position to still be the singer, ministering, singing everywhere. Every time somebody passed away, you calling me to go to a funeral. It's gotten to a point right now where rudely I'm telling people, yo, I'm not going to be able to make it to the funeral because I just hate funerals now. And they's like, it's not about you. It's about the people. What I'm supposed to sing to a dead person. What I'm supposed to encourage the family. I'm supposed to deny myself of happiness so that y'all can be good. No, I'm over that. Right now, I've ministered to so many people. I've done my time in church where I've been there Monday through damn Sunday. And my wife got to a point where she's like, look, I'm done. I'm going to be home. I can't do that. Me, I was in ministry, man. And I've preached at 2 different churches. I've studied theology. All those things, bro. I went around the country singing at different daggone retirement homes and facilities and bands and stuff. And I was like, you real funny, God. I wanted to be Bobby Brown, and you got me daggone being TD Jakes. Like, what's going on with that? So, but at the end of the day, what it taught me was humanity. It taught me that, it's just about loving people. And the one thing that people who know me now don't understand is, Van, you always talking to them white people and you all heeing and hawing about what's going on in the world, but you ain't ever showing love to the community and stuff like that. And I'm like, look, I'm trying to show love to a community that I used to hate on for no damn reason at all. And I'm just trying to understand them so that I can understand us more. And it's actually helping me out. It's helping to make me a well-rounded person, well-rounded individual. Because I'm obviously, I believe in God, and I believe that we are all God's people, whether we're black, white, or other, conservative, liberal, or other. So now it's time for me to spend time with them and figure out exactly what's going on. How can I help? How can I be of assistance? And yes, is another box, is another echo chamber, but I'm steadily trying to get them to all come together in the middle. And I think I actually have a mission now that I'm not giving myself credit for, where I'm trying to bring people together, but I'm also trying to make sure my family is good while I'm also trying to chase the bag. And it's like, and one always cancels out the other. Because if you love people, you can't take advantage of them. But most people who are rich out here are taking advantage of people. And it's like, God damn, I can really run it up. I just now called one of my I'm doing videos on IG now. And I've started stepping those up. I started put my same YouTube focus on IG. And my IG went from 11,000 followers in the last 30 days to now we're at 20,000 followers on IG because I'm putting that same YouTube focus on IG. So on my videos, I'm like, DM me coach. And if you DM me coach, I'm going to try to help you learn how to do this internet stuff. But you're going to have to pay me to do it because my time is valuable. So so this lady hit me up. She was like, coach, I want you to coach my son. He's 16 years old and he plays video games all the time. I want you to teach him how to do this. I said, I got you. $500 a month. We can get it popping. And she said, okay, we can do that. Absolutely. I said, yes, let's go. Sent her a message, man. And I kicked myself in the butt for this, but because people tell me, bro, you shouldn't do this. But I don't know why I did it. I was like, don't pay me until I show you some value, because I don't know how long it's going to make for you to make any money. And I don't know what you had to go through to make the $500 that you'll be paying me. And I actually felt bad doing it because I'm like, here you are doing something free for these white people. What's going on with you? Because I'm still in the same mentality. Like, people don't change. I'm never going to change. Never going to change. So, but I'm always going to improve, hopefully. But I know what the people are saying that know me and love me. But at the end of the day, I don't care. But I do care about people working hard for their dime and then paying me, and they're not seeing any money come back to their accounts. It's like, bro, what are we doing? I'm showing them how to get some likes. I'm showing them how to get more followers, but that money ain't coming in for them. But guess who they're still paying? Me. And that's not fair to them. So, but then I'm like, but you said you want to get rich. You said you want to grow a brand. You said you wanted to retire your wife. You need to be accepting them payments, bro. But I'm not. Here I am again, telling people, yes, I would do what I reached out to you to do. Like, I'm doing these videos as an ad that I want to now pivot away from something, away from YouTube being my boss, because that's what they are, to be honest with you. I can't talk the way I want to talk. I can't do what I want to do. And I got to produce in order for them to get their ad money, so that they break me off just a little bit of it. Yeah. All right. So they are my boss, essentially. So I'm trying to pivot away from that, where I can coach people and to be separate from that. And I can still get my money and not have to depend on the videos. But I just don't have I don't have that heart to really just say, yeah, give me that money. That $3,000 you're willing to pay me for the next 6 months, break it off. I take it. Let's go. I can't do that because I can't promise them their $3,000 back. But is that the game? Maybe that's not the game. The game is just to teach them how to do this right here, because it's actually valuable. If I can teach somebody how to do what I'm doing right now, they will eventually start to make some really good money. And I know that, but I don't want to charge them until they start making good money. So that's where I am right now. It's a conundrum, man.
There's a lot to unpack here. And everything you just said, that was good. There's a lot to unpack.
Sorry for doing all this talking.
No. This is why I wanted to interview, because I love it. You and we love talking. But there was a lot to unpack here. Going back to just the conversation about the family, right? You and I are very similar in so many ways. It's crazy because it sounds like you have a strong woman who believes in you, in your corner, and doesn't complain of what you're doing. Same thing here. Like, my wife, she's like, oh, how long was the interview? I'm like, an hour. All right, see you in 3-4. Like, you know, like, she's but she supports me like 100%, just like you. And again, it's like, I would say, like, I think you have a little bit more of a balance that I do when it comes to your family, and I'm trying to get there. And like, I love everything you said about how you raise your family and everything. Now, in the business aspect of things, what you were just saying, that was absolutely a bad move, 100%. DMing her and being like, you know, don't pay me. But I understand, because you and I are so much alike. You know how many people tell me constantly I need to monetize myself. It's like, yo, people trust you. I'm like, I understand that, but I never want to lose their trust. It's like, yeah, but you know this. Why don't you charge for this? It's your time. It's valuable. And I get that. And I know eventually I'm going to try to sell something and put something together, but I have to feel 100% confident about it. But at the same time, it's hard because you cannot guarantee that if you pay me $500, that your YouTube channel is going to be 700,000 subscribers as well. There's no guarantee with that. Could it happen? Could it not? We don't know. But you have the skills. You've proven that you have the skills to get there, but it's not guaranteed. And then you will feel bad because, like you just said, you don't know how hard it is for that person to get $500. It may be easy. It may not be. You never know. Because some people are so desperate to win. Some people are so desperate to get that skill that they're willing to sacrifice their own lifestyle or their credit cards or their money or their savings account to pay you in hopes that you have that key that we were talking about, which will bring them to that next level. And it takes a certain person where you have to sometimes just put that to the side and understand that in the end of the day, Van, you are still a brand. LFR family is still a brand. You're still a businessman. Your time is still valuable. When you're sitting there, you're coaching somebody for an hour, that's an hour you could have spent with your kids. That's an hour you could have spent with your wife. That's an hour you could have spent making content. That's an hour you could have spent doing a lot of other things besides helping somebody else. And it's a balance. I get it, man. I get it. You and I, like, I mean, your channel is definitely way bigger than me, but I get it, man. It's hard.
No. You
navigate.
definitely get it. You just know this. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're going through the exact same thing. So yeah, you get it.
It's hard. It's hard to navigate. Like my friend, one of my buddies was like, "Yo, stop telling people where they can go to learn this. You need to teach it because you know it." It's like, but it's free over here. It doesn't matter. Put your own spin on it. I don't know if I can. You need to charge at least $500. How about $49? It's nobody's going to respect the value of $49. Like I have these conversations all the time. So I get it, man. I get it. And I honestly, I know you're going to be successful in this space, man. And you definitely are.
You too, brother. You too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I need to believe in myself a lot more because my wife says a lot of times, like, you don't believe in yourself enough, because there's actually there is a mindset, and I don't know if it's a culture thing. I don't know if it's a Black thing. I don't know if it's a content creator thing, but a lot of times, like, I'm fearful to win. I'm fearful to be bigger than I should be. Sometimes I feel bad for making X, Y, and Z money when other people are struggling. It's a weird space sometimes. Sometimes I'm maybe just too much in my head, but who knows? But you haven't.
Listen, I understand. And honestly, I get it with the fear to win and all that other stuff. But I think you have more of a love for people than you have a fear to win. I think you have more of a respect for family and understanding that people go through real stuff. And you have a fear to win. Yeah, you can still have that fear to win. Like, we are all cakes. We are all cakes made up of so many different ingredients based off the type of cake we are, right? And yeah, fear to win is a part of our ingredients, but it's not more than our love for people. It's not more than our respect for family. It's not more for our respect for time. Like, fear to win is that's for everybody, to be honest with you, in some type of way, shape, or form. It is there because we have compassion. We know. I don't know, man. We've seen struggling enough. Everybody has a story. You know what I mean? We all have a story, and we can't tell everybody our story. Like life coaching is another thing that I'm going into. But I know people who are paying people $150 an hour to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
And I know that.
Go ahead. I was like, that's actually, I think you'll be very, very good at that, to be honest.
Bless you, brother. I appreciate it, man. But here's the thing. I know that I think you'll be great at that too, man, to be honest with you. But here's the thing. I know life coaches are taking advantage of people.
Of course. Another industry. Every industry. There is some good out there, but there's a lot of bad. And you have to do your due diligence, and you have to cipher through the noise of who's good, who's bad, who's not. And it's hard. It's funny because you just mentioned that. Did you listen to the latest Joe Rogan and Russell Brand interview?
I didn't listen to the whole thing. I only listened to the portions that I did reactions to, which was 2 or 3. Man, Russell Brand is ridiculous. That dude is nuts.
Yo,
he's nuts. He's a genius.
yes.
He's a genius. He's smart as hell, but he is nuts. This brother said, man, one time when I was on drugs, I decided to jerk off another man just to see how it would be.
And he said it so casually too in the conversation. Like, it was like, I did drugs with this person. I lived with a homeless guy. I blocked my father. I jerked a guy off in the bathroom. I was like, it just kept going. I was like, what? Pause. Rewind.
And then hold on. And then he said with the homeless man, I wanted to really connect with him, so I took a bath with him.
Yeah.
And then I did this. You took a bath with the homeless? Come on, bro.
Yeah. And he's like, the guy chose that he'd rather be homeless than live with me.
Yeah. Like he just got up out of there. You know what? Call me a damn Uber. I'm out of this. This dude's a freak.
Yeah. So yesterday I'm cleaning out the house, right? And I listened to the podcast, and I gotta say, it was by far one of the best Joe Rogan podcasts I ever listened to. I'm not too familiar with Russell Brand's his podcast. Now, I met Russell Brand. Me and him, we worked on a movie together on Get Him to the Greek. He really nice guy.
I'm sorry,
really
say what?
Nice guy. Huh?
Y'all worked on a movie together.
Yeah, I was just a stand-in. He was like the actor of the movie. A stand-in is the person who comes on set. They're like basically like, Mark, come on set, sit here. They do the lighting and stuff, and they're like, all right, Mark, get up. Hey, Diddy, Jonah Hill, Russell Brand, come in, sit. And then they do their scene. They get up and they're like, all right, Mark, come back on, sit right here, and they do the lighting and stuff. So I did that with like Get Him to the Greek. But Russell was real, and this is like the height of his fame. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. But I always heard, he had some controversy on YouTube or whatnot. And I just never really listened to like his political opinion, but listened to that podcast. I was like, man, that was a podcast that literally was transcending, I think, personally. Like, I just listening to it, it changed how I view a lot of things. Especially like the political stuff. That's why you and I want to talk to you about the being stuck in a box and an echo chamber. Because if you watch it and you listen to it, everyone always aligns Russell Brand and Joe Rogan to this alt-right group, and they're really not.
They're not.
They're really not. They're very much kind of like me and you.
They're in the center.
Me and you, and you and I really are in the center. We have some conservative views. We have some liberal views.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said earlier, you said you smoke weed. I'm sure that's more of a liberal thing.
It is.
Like,
it is.
Do you like guns?
Yes.
That's more of a conservative thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you pro-abortion or pro-choice?
Well, like Chris Rock says, shout out to Chris Rock. That joint last night.
I gotta watch that special.
Listen, I'm not going to ruin it for you. You didn't watch it, did you?
I have not. I have not watched it.
Okay, I'm not going to ruin it for you. But one thing he did say, and I have to touch on this, he said, I'm pro-life. He said, I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice. I'm pro-life because he said, I have beautiful daughters. And you know what I mean? And anybody who has the ability to have a child definitely should have their baby and grow their families and all those other things. And it's amazing. He said, but when my daughters grow to be a certain age or even throughout their entire lives, I don't want anyone controlling them. I want them to have choice over their bodies, period. So that makes me pro-choice because I wouldn't ever want anybody to decide anything for my babies. So I'm both, but I'm more.
Hard question.
I will say this. Not having enough understanding about the political ramifications of it all is always my go-to. I'm a fence straddler when it comes to this. I don't know which one I lean to the most. I really don't. I don't know which one I lean to the most. God damn it, Van!
But it's a hard question. You see, it's not just black and white.
It's not.
That's what I took from that podcast is listen to it. It's like it's really true. You and I, it's not everything is black and white. It's just because I have that same thing, pro-choice, pro life. I'm both. Yeah. I'm both. It isn't just like one fits all. Like I'm pro marijuana, I'm pro guns. I'm pro low taxes. I don't think you should tax the hell out of the rich, but at the same time, I'm like, well, our system's also kind of rigged to the point where, like, why is it so hard for people who are on the bottom to struggle? I'm also for a universal healthcare system. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just, you can't just put everyone in just a single box, but it's become that way where you are deemed this or that.
Right.
And now we're in this real weird space in this culture in America in general. It seems to be an American thing. I don't know. I haven't been in Europe in so many years. I mean, I just came back from England, but I haven't lived over there for so many years. 16 years I haven't lived over there. But it's just the dynamic of how everyone interacts with each other now in this country. It seems like more and more there is no cohesiveness. Everything is we're drifting further and further and further apart, and it's making this country more angry, and people are being mean to each other. The love is disappearing slowly, and it's not even being in this echo chamber. It's like you either agree with me or you're my enemy. There's nothing else, and they do it both, right and left. Like Joe Rogan mentioned this on the podcast, and it was a perfect example. I'm gonna misquote him, but he's like, you look on CNN, and it's like everybody's racist. The rich are trying to take advantage of you. Nobody likes LGBTQ community. Then you go on the right, and it's like they're trying to take your guns away. It's like they're trying to groom your children. They don't want you to be successful. It's all these fear-mongering narratives to keep you separated and to keep you that basically divided. Therefore, they can control you. And I don't think there's really anybody up there who's like, this is what we're going to do. I think it's just a series of things that just trickles down. I don't think there's one person who's controlling everything. It's like you look at like Target, I'm sure. At Target at one point when Black Lives Matter was happening, they're like, well, that people want to hear from us. I don't know why people want to hear from us, but we have to make a decision, or else the advertisers are not going to want to advertise in our store, or we won't be able to advertise on this platform, or people may not want to shop here. So what do we need to do? What do people like? Okay, you have to support Black people. Cops are all bad. So let's hire a bunch of Black people right now, put them in our ads, and we're pro Black Lives Matter. That will help our business. They don't really care. They don't really care. It's probably a marketing team who's like, how can we extract as much money off of this situation as possible? And that's really true. Like, thinking about it is like, I don't think the government is setting up this stuff. I don't think COVID was man-made and was like, let's put it out there so we can control people. I think it was a situation that happened, and then the corporations and the government will take advantage of those situations and then profit off of it. And we're just too stupid to see it. And then when you mention it, people will just like, on one side or this side, they're like, oh, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. You know nothing. You know nothing. And then I think there's a majority of people are really in the middle, and they're so lost, like me and you. It's like, well, your content is mostly conservative, but by God, like, you say something that's liberal, there goes the subscribers, start thumbs down or unsubscribing. And it's a weird place to be.
It really is. It's a horrible place to be. I can't even say anything positive about LeBron James because he's doing business with China. He's doing business with China, and he's part of the whole problem with people working for slave wages. But as Chris Rock mentioned last night, he said all of us got iPhones in our pockets right now.
Yep.
Who the hell are making these? Like, and the stuff before the phones are even put together to receive the product, I mean the parts, the pieces inside of the phone that you got to put to this and put to that, those come from Africa, and those little particles are being pulled from the soil by people being paid slave wages.
Probably in Africa or some other third world country.
Or in some other third world country, people are literally being paid slave wages. But all of us want to be the most knowledgeable hypocrite.
I love that. The most knowledgeable hypocrite.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to be.
You hit it on the nose. And I sometimes wonder, especially like in the media, and I want to touch on it, like Black media and celebrities and stuff. Do you think they purposely are doing this, or do you think they're just ignorant to the situation and they believe what they're being fed by people? Like, do you really believe that everything LeBron James says he really believes?
Hell no. Hell no. LeBron James is a capitalist.
Hmm.
He's a capitalist. He's a family man, but he's a capitalist. He's a baller. He's winning, so he wants more. He's greedy. He's he's what you call it? Not divisive. He's a liar. He's definitely a liar. In order to play sports, you have to be. You got to learn how to be. You got to learn how to flop. You got to learn how to act as if your teammate did not do it, but their teammate did do it. We didn't see that foul because it was on our team, but clearly they fouled us because it's on that team. So you got to be that way. He's the best of the best in his sport, and that's all the whole thing. But when it comes to real world type of events, bruh, this dude is a regular ass man. He don't make any policy, he don't make any law. So I can care less how he decides to get up on his soapbox and speak for the people who support him. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to speak for the people that support you the most, but you're supposed to do it responsibly enough that you hold them accountable. That's one thing he's not doing that much of. Now he has tried to be like, man, he put it out there one time. He said, we killing each other, we killing ourselves. We can't keep on blaming other people if we out here doing stupid stuff. Black community, or as Samore says, you know, Samore, the comedian, Nia Long sister. Yeah. She says, as the nigga net says, oh man, there you go talking that white stuff again. You taking up for them now. You taking it. So people will turn on you real quick, real fickle. If you say something, if I say something too liberal, I'm gonna lose subscribers. If I say something too conservative, I'm gonna lose subscribers. Why? Because some conservatives don't even drink the Kool-Aid that they're out there pouring themselves. So it's ridiculous. It's the whole thing is just dumb. We're not perfect, but yet we like to hold people to account as if we are. And I don't understand that. I really don't. I'm on the gall of us to be so arrogant to believe that someone has to say and do everything perfectly. And now perfectly is our perspective. Correct. Perfectly is always our perspective. Like the way your wife cook is something that you and your family love and enjoy. But it might not be the way my wife cook, but to you it's perfect. To me, it's like, need some more salt, or got too much salt, or too dry, or too moist. It could be anything. But guess what? It don't matter at the end of the day, as long as some people enjoy it and it was fixed with love and all this other stuff. It's just stupid, man. I know I said a whole bunch and didn't say nothing, but I'm used to doing that. And that's why I'm able to do this internet shite.
Yeah, LeBron James is a unique person. Now, I don't watch sports like that, so he's not like the GOAT in my eyes of everything. It seems like just because he's good in sports, therefore he should be good in politics, or he should be good at X, Y, and Z. We all have dirt. And I know some dirt about LeBron James. I know some people who actually know him. Nobody's perfect out there, especially in this celebrity world, right? This world where these people really have an influence and they can move the culture in whichever direction they want to, right? So all these celebrities, they move forward the conversation and how a lot of us should feel. That's what movies are. When you watch a movie, you go watch a movie to feel a certain way: scared, sad, happy, excited. These are things. So they do this stuff a lot, and we're now in a space where so many, especially Black celebrities now, finally have a voice. Have you noticed that? They're like, we see Black people in everything now. And that's a good thing. And sometimes I feel like, man, I'm always way too early to the game. And by the time I'm done, it starts taking off, right? Because, right. I always want to be an actor, like just a working actor. Never panned out. But now you see stuff.
It still could, though.
It still could. And to me, this is still acting. Like, I enjoy doing my videos. That's why I do the skits. To me, I still get that acting bug. And, people watch me talk. So, I'm getting fulfilled in one way or another.
Right.
But these people, so now a lot of people have more of a voice. And how are they using that voice now? And I'm seeing it more that they're using their voice to be more divisive.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. Did you see the Gabriella Union thing?
Yes.
recently? Okay.
Yes.
She's on stage and she's like,
Yeah.
black, trans, all this other stuff. And she's like, she literally made the statement that they're being hunted and discriminated against. And I'm like, is that really true though?
Well, I will tell you this, man. You'll be surprised at what falls on your algorithm if that's your world. For instance, I mean, it's because you know a great deal of things about what you know things about.
Psychological warfare?
Huh?
Psychological warfare?
Um, no, well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm talking about, okay, I'll put it to you like this. On your algorithm, you see a whole lot of things that are surrounded around your interests and your clicks.
Yes. Correct. Yes.
Now we're talking about a mom who found out at the age of 10 that her son did not feel comfortable in his own skin.
Mm-hmm.
So what the mom did, a mom who doesn't work, by the way, a mom who's at home all day long trying to make sure that her kids are on point, she decided to look this up, become a part of certain communities, become, support groups and have shared stories, and they're sharing stories. Did you see that this trans person went missing? Did you see that this trans person went missing? This trans kid went missing. This trans kid, this trans kid, this trans kid. And this stuff is not really being broadcast on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, none of that. But this community of people, they see this. So when they stand up in front of a group of people and they're saying that trans people are being snatched and all this other stuff, we like, are they though? Well, I mean, we haven't seen it. I don't know what you're talking about. But then they can sit down and say, oh, you haven't seen it. Okay. Look at this right here. And they set in front of you a file of probably like 500 people who've been snatched in the last month. And you're like, how come we haven't heard anything about this? Like, because it's not sexy to put this information out there. It's not in your algorithm. It's not, what's the point of them putting it? People won't even believe it. And probably they don't even care about this group of people. So not just giving her the benefit of the doubt, it might be some information out there that she knows about that we don't know about. And it makes it that more passionate of an issue for her, because this hasn't been the first time where I've heard someone say that the trans community has been attacked and the gay community are being murdered, and and I'm like, are they though? I don't ever see any stories about this, that, and the third. Well, that don't mean that they aren't.
You have a very good point. You see, this is why I'm very open-minded about this. I was going to take this direction to a whole different space, but now you kind of open my eyes, and you might be right.
But I might be, and I might be wrong as hell.
You're absolutely right. It's just like it's the same thing that happened with police officers killing black people, right? You watch one video, now it's just like bam, bam, bam. And a couple of days ago, I saw a video where white dude was just walking to work. I don't know if you saw that video. Cop pulls up. He's like, "Where you going?" He's like, "Huh?" He had headphones in, right? And he's like, take your hands out of your pocket. And he takes out. He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, we're arresting you for something. I don't know. And the guy was like, "What's going on?" He wasn't really resisting arrest, but his hands on the car, and he's like, "Well, what am I being arrested for?" Someone was trying to break into cars. He's like, but that wasn't me. And then the cop just grabs him and suplexes him onto the ground. And he's like, "Wow, that was violent." Ever since I watched that one video, I posted it in a group. And everyone was like, he was resisting arrest. It was more of him just like, wait, what am I being? I'm going to work. What am I being arrested? Shut up. Boom. And then suplex.
Yep.
Bad too. Like suplex this dude.
Yeah. Right on his head.
Yeah. And he's like,
right
wow.
On his head.
I watched that one video. Now all of a sudden in my algorithm, I'm seeing a lot of white people getting abused by cops. And you start seeing like, oh, it's not just black people. It's everybody. So you actually might have a point there where what she's seeing, and especially in Hollywood, where everyone needs to kind of feel special. I do feel a certain way with that sometimes, where I'm like, you're at home alone, you're bored, you're not special, you're not making movies anymore. But guess what? My step kid over there, he identifies as a girl. Ooh, I can make the conversation about us. We could be in a spotlight. We can monetize this. So I do feel like a certain way with that, because like in that industry, in the acting industry, in the end of the day, every actor that I've met, and even I lived in Hollywood for like a short period of time. There's a lot of it is about me.
Yeah.
What put the lights on me? That's really what it is. And
yeah.
So I was just wondering, I'm like, is this really a thing, or is she just trying to be in the forefront and monetize this? And in the end of the day, I sat back too. At the same time, I'm like, I don't care. I was like, I don't care about this, because then you see Candace Owens' video start popping up, and she's like, they're doing this, and that's child abuse and all this other stuff. And I'm like, at the end of the day, it's not your kid. That's their kid, their family. And sometimes I'm like, it's none of my business. I don't, and I'm just like, I don't really care if you're gay, straight, trans, whatever. I really don't care. Do I have certain issues about it? Sure, but if you're over the age of 18, I don't care how you want to live your life. My issue is when it starts like trickling down to kids' content, and when it's happening in classrooms, when a kid should just really just be an innocent kid. Like, why should I live in Florida, so don't say gay bill that DeSantis had started, which doesn't even say anything about gay in the bill. But this is a fact that I saw so many people outraged about it. And I'm like, if you just have a conversation with an adult, when I tell you, Van, you're a third grader, are you cool with them learning about gay sex?
Nah.
Or
that
they're it's just sexual orientation, or that, hey, guess what? You don't have to be a boy. You could be a girl if you want to. Like, would you be okay with that? The average person would probably say, like, nah, I think that's not appropriate at that age.
Nah. And plus, we don't have to tell your mom. We don't have to tell your kids. I'll tell your parents.
But you don't get the full story. Yeah, you don't get the full story. All you hear is like, DeSantis, evil person, doesn't like gay people. So it starts this narrative. And I'm just seeing that from just the media down. That's why I'm seeing like Gabrielle Union and the LGBTQ and what they're doing with, because like, let's just be real, within the Black community, that's kind of unacceptable to this day. That's probably the one community that's still like, if you're Black and you're gay, especially a Black gay man, it's like, that's why there's so many undercover brothers in Atlanta.
Because I will say, I will say this, when it comes to the church, it's accepted. The Black church is accepted. If we know one, and we love that one, then we're going to ride hard for that one, and we're going to act as if like I have to say this. I have to say this too. Your perspective as someone who lived in Hollywood that understand these actors and their mentality is definitely necessary to be heard. I think Gabrielle Union, to a certain point, it's at some of what she's doing is theater. I think what she's doing, some of what she's doing is theater. Chris Rock, he mentioned something in his stand-up, and I'm just telling you little pieces of it. It's not too wrong for you.
Before you and I spoke. I should have watched it before you and I spoke, because it was actually on my list of things I wanted to talk about.
But here's the thing: you're bringing up things that are still things because Chris Rock is just like, and some people will be against me for this, but guess what? I don't care. Chris Rock, he gives out real life situations just like Dave Chappelle. But in my opinion, I think he's funnier than Dave Chappelle when it comes to stand up. That's just me. But here's the thing.
Man, this was fun. I gotta go.
Listen, I know, I get it. Dave Chappelle has a bunch of people on his line, for what he does, but I think he's amazing too. But I've always been in this thinking, Chris Rock is definitely, when it comes to stand up, probably my number one stand up comedian of all times. But he brought up something where he was saying that his daughters grew up like super, 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 super rich and wealthy daughters grow up. I mean, obviously, that's what he did. He's poured into them and gave them the best of the best. He said, but when his oldest daughter got into an issue at school, they snuck away with her friends while they was on a trip, and they was doing whatever they did and getting drunk and going to bars and stuff. They was fearing getting expelled from their school and all that other stuff. Now, these kids was clearly wrong. They were on a school trip. They snuck away from everybody else, and they got drunk, and they just having all this other fun. And then instead of the parents of those kids holding their kids accountable, they decide to get their lawyers and sue the schools that was very hard to get into in the first place. They decided to sue the school. And Chris Rock was doing the same thing. He said, you know what? My ex-wife convinced me that we should get a lawyer too, and that we should go ahead and make sure that we hold them accountable because it's their fault that they got away. Why they let them get away? Why they blah, 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 blah. Anyway, because that's how we start to think when we're in our own bubble, thinking that we're the most important thing going. Gabrielle Union is definitely there. She's definitely there. And it makes her more upset that people aren't so accepting of what she is doing to her son that's not even her birth son. People don't understand that too. Like, not that she's still the mom. She's still the mom, but she is considering getting the dingling cut off of a boy that did not come through her vagina. Mm-hmm. And that right there is bothering a lot of people because the mom, the natural birth mom, has an issue with it. Mm-hmm. The natural birth mom is saying, no, you are not going to do that to my son. But guess what? Who has the most money? Who has the most lawyers? Who's going to get it done? They are going to get it done. And that's an issue. And so, of course, she's going to try to make it as if this is the same thing. This is the same level as slavery. This is the same thing that we went through as Black people. And now our trans community are going through this. And y'all are denying it. Y'all are not trying to get on the. So she's on her soapbox and she's doing her Michelle Obama type thing. She's giving a phenomenal speech to build people up. So a lot of what she was saying could have been conjecture. It could have been something made up. I don't know, but something I like to do could be a fault of mine is give people the benefit of the doubt. Do I think she's bullshitting? Yes. Do I think it's a possibility that what she's saying is true? Yes. It's possible.
There's a gray area there for sure.
Gray as hell.
Yeah, and I totally support the gay community. Your experience in your church is very different than the experience I had in the Black church. In fact, in 2020, the Black church that we were going to, me and my wife, we went to a class that the pastor was holding for parents, how to be better parents. So we went to it, all of them there. And I was already, they already felt a certain way about me because I was like, I was very outspoken about, well, if you're going to talk about Trump, but just make sure you get the facts right because this is this. Oh, you're a Trump supporter. I'm not. I'm just saying what you're learning is actually kind of wrong, but whatever. So we're sitting there in church, and one of the kids raises their hand like, I'm having an issue with this gay community, this gay agenda that's being pushed on television all the time. And it's like, it's being okay. Like all of a sudden, men are kissing each other, women are kissing each other. And my kid is asking me questions. And I'm like, what happens if my kid ends up, falling into that trap and decides to be, gay? And their answer was like, well, we just have to start praying for them. We can convert them, make sure they understand that this is not normal. This is not the way to live a life. We can just pray for them. And that's what all we got to do. We got to get them away from that lifestyle. And that's when I was like, to my wife, I was like, I didn't feel comfortable with this.
Pray away the gay.
Huh?
Pray away the gay.
Yeah, pray away. But not even that. I was just like the fact that they weren't accepting. Because I looked at her, I was like, because for a while I thought one of my kids was gay, to be real. Turned out to be completely wrong. And me and him joke around about it. But I remember having that conversation with my wife. I was like, I feel a certain way about this because if this kid that we have is gay, I'm not going to sit there and tell him that we're going to pray that away and that he's wrong for loving the same sex. I mean, will I be ecstatic about it? No, clearly. But I would never make him feel like he's wrong for what he's doing, that he's evil, he's going to go to hell, and that we can pray it away and that he needs to force himself to like a woman if he clearly doesn't. Because I've been through a phase. My dad was extremely homophobic. And one of my good friends is gay. And I remember sitting and having a conversation with him. And I was like, why'd you choose to be gay? And he laughed at me. He was like, choose? He's like, do you think I want to grow up in the 90s being made fun of? He's like, do you think I like going down the street and be called a dick sucker and nobody wants to talk to me? Nobody wants to be friends with me? It was like, it was a struggle. So now, fast forward, a decade later, I'm looking around and I'm just like, the gay community, y'all not struggling like my friend did in the 90s. Y'all not struggling like gay people did in the 80s. Y'all are pretty much accepted. So what are you complaining about right now? Oh, because this person, the trans community, okay? This is my opinion. The trans community. Do I have an issue with a man saying he's a woman and now doing MMA and beating the shit out of women? Do I have an issue with a man saying he's a woman and now beating all these records in women's activities and sports? Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, I actually do have an issue with it. And I think it's actually disrespectful towards women in general. It's like you will never, like, as not trying to be mean, but you're playing dress up and now you wouldn't be expected to be treated as a woman. You're not going to go through the hormones and the mood swings that women do. You will not go through the experience of pushing a baby out of your vagina. You will not go through menopause. You will not go through the fact that when you walk alone in the evening at night, you might get raped by some guy. You will never go through the roller coaster of shit that women go through. You can pretend that you do. You're going through the trans woman experience, which will be different. Like, I don't feel comfortable with how I feel in this skin. I identify more. I like women things. I maybe have some mental health issues. I want to be called a woman. That's your experience. It's not the same like the woman's experience. And there should be a differentiating space for the both. If you want to play women's sport, have a trans women's sport, because you're going into women's spaces and you're dominating and destroying and literally taking things away from them. Why was Caitlyn Jenner Woman of the Year? Why? That deserved to belong to a biological woman who worked her ass off, probably in some corporation where they weren't respecting her as they should, or she had to work extra hard to get to X, Y, and Z. But no, just because you decide one day to say, I'm a man, but today I'm a woman, you get Woman of the Year. That's my issue with some of the social aspects of things.
Well, Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, Jesus. You know what? This whole thing. Oh Lord. Oh man. It's one of the things, man, where you just allow people to fight their fights, and if you're not in the fight, listen, I'm at a point right now, man, where I'm just minding my business.
That's exactly what I'm getting to as well.
I really just, honestly,
but it's Mark, like, just don't bring that to young children. That's always my thing. Don't bring it to young children.
When you bring it to the kids, that's when it becomes an issue for me. When you bring it to the kids, it becomes an issue for me. But when it's like all these people are making decisions that we all have to consider whether or not our kids will be affected in the future, man. And they will be affected in the future. They will be, because the world is changing. The world is always changing. It's always changing. But I say, fight y'all fight. If this is what y'all firmly believe and y'all want to, hopefully there's no none of that you're trying to take advantage of children, or you're trying to be a psychopath or anything like that with it. I just pray that they get whatever they're fighting for in a righteous sense, rather than just believing that it's our time and we can do whatever we want to do type of BS, because we are putting limits on the things that we accept.
Correct.
And it's like we accept gay, but not that damn gay. Okay, calm down. You ain't gonna. Okay, I get it. You feel like this, but you're not that. So relax. And we call it a mental disorder, and I think the likelihood of it being a mental disorder is very high, in my opinion. But by me simply saying that comes off extremely disrespectful to someone like Gabrielle Union, who's like, how dare you say that my son is mentally
ill? Yeah.
Ill. because this is not my son. How dare you say that my daughter is mentally ill? Now that part right there will make me think Gabrielle Union is mentally ill for calling her son her daughter, because he is not your daughter. He is not. See, this right here is very tricky, man. It's very, very, and I try my best to stay away from it. You know what I mean? It's like, do I have to referee this? Can I set this one out? I'm just gonna go ahead, session stand, give me some popcorn. You know what I mean? Let y'all go ahead and fight it out. Let me enjoy this. I might give me some blood that come. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I was just extremely disrespectful to Gabrielle Union without trying to be disrespectful to Gabrielle Union. I posted something on Twitter the other day, last week, and I said, a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and I apologize for being, for being for what would I say, for writing for my hate speech. I apologize for my hate speech. And that post did better than most of my posts out there, because the echo chamber of people who are like, yeah, tell him, a man is a man, can never be a woman, and a woman. That's not what I was trying to say. I was just simply saying, look, I put God first, which is also a debate.
That's another thing. Yeah.
That's another debate. Like, so it's like, if everything's up for debate, I'm just like, okay, why are we so upset about things? Because everything is up for debate. By me saying that God is the one and true living God, and if you don't go through Jesus, you are not doing the right way, blah, blah, blah. I'm disrespecting the whole Muslim community. I'm disrespecting so many other people who have different religions and walks in life. And that's not my, I'm not in this whole thing to be disrespectful, but by simply discussing it, we're going to disrespect somebody. Gabrielle Union, I think, if I'm being honest, I think what they're doing is extremely dangerous. And it's not only dangerous to other people who look up to them, but I think it's dangerous to their son. I think it's dangerous to all of their kids, because they don't just have one. But I get it. We ride and we die for our
kids. Yeah.
If it's our kids, man, what? You saying you what? You feel like you this? All right, then you are that. You ain't got to apologize to nobody. I got you. And then we completely throw away our spirituality at that point, because
in all sense of reality.
Yeah, in all sense of reality. Because and to just to piggyback, and I'm not going to stay on this topic, but just to go back to what you said about the black churches, it depends on what black church you're in. If you're in a Baptist church, like my father-in-law, my wife's father is a pastor, and that's who got me real, into ministry and stuff. It's like, oh, man, you sing? Oh, man. Okay. I got me a singer. I got me somebody that's going to run the mail course. You're going to run the disc. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And you got kids. They can sing too. They're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do this. He was the type of pastor that preached, God made Adam and Eve. He ain't make Adam and Steve. Amen. Amen, somebody. I'm preaching better than y'all saying amen. I must be hurting some feelings today. Like, that's the type of pastor that he is. And guess what happens? His congregation got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because as the years go on, everybody got gay people in their family now. So we're like, okay, what you're preaching is very divisive. You're talking about, he said, I preach the word of God, and if it's not in here, then I'm not preaching it. I don't care if I'm hurting no feelings. My job is not to care about your feelings. My job is to bring you closer to Jesus. And if that's not what I'm doing, then I'm not doing his work. I'm out here doing God's work, not your work. So, and what he's doing is he's constantly just biting at it. And it makes him come off as homophobic. It makes him come off as divisive. It makes him come off as many negative things. But for people who are tightly, entangled with their spirituality, you feel like you want to give them a pass. But we don't do that for terrorists when they say that, look, what we're taught is what you're doing wrong is doing is demonic Western society. And we're going to do this in the name of Allah. And when we do it in the name of Allah, we're going to receive all of our gifts in heaven, or wherever we're going, paradise, when we get 15 virgins and we get this, that, and the other. Like, so they're promised something too. Everybody's promised something. and believe in what they believe. And they looking at Western society right now like, oh man, they got gays in office now. They got gays, they got transsexuals in office now. They're standing up and they're fighting each other. And so we're looking crazy to different places. They're looking crazy to us. So, it is what it is. What can we do? Nobody's better than anybody.
No, and I agree. And I think we lack a level of acceptance and love now in this space. And although what we just talked about, like, this is like, I'm not cool with this, or this is what I perceive. I think we're in a space now in America where everyone's truth matters, right? That's the thing. This is my truth, right? Gabrielle Union, this is her truth. This, what you were saying, that's your truth. What I say is my truth. But the problem is, like, we pick and choose whose truth is valid. And it's like, I want you to accept my truth. Okay, I will, but you're not accepting my truth. It's like, I believe biologically there's a boy and a girl. That's it. No. You're so outdated. My truth says we have multiple spectrums. And it's like, you're a bigot. It's like, you're a bigot. Like, it just goes back and forth. Nobody's accepting each other's truth. And there is unfortunately apparently no truths anymore. But I think if people just kind of step away and really look at the grand scheme of things, if you, for example, Van, was a trans and you're like, I want to be referred to as a woman. Okay. I have no problem with that. I get along with you. That's fine. No big deal. But you need to understand that when I'm talking to my kids, if they ask me, why is this man dressed up as a woman? I'm not going to be like, well, he's a real woman. I'm not going to do that, because my truth is that you're a trans woman. And you need to respect the way I raise my kids, just like I'm respecting how you want to live your life. And we're not having those conversations anymore. And it goes all the way back to school. Like, again, I'm okay with telling my kids, oh yeah, this is a gay couple, they love each other. So, well, is this right or wrong? Well, it's not really about right or wrong. It's like, this is how they feel and this is how they want to live their life. But I'm not gonna tell you what is like, well, what's normal? Well, majority people are man and woman to procreate. That's how life is in general. But some people decide to live differently. And if you choose, as when you get older, to be like that, that's fine. But I don't need my teacher coming in saying, my name is David, I identify as a man, this is my husband, and we are gay, and it's okay to be gay. And if you want to be gay, trust me, you could come talk to me about it. It's okay. It's like,
whoa, you had to put on your gay voice, though.
I know, I'm just totally beast.
That's not right. See?
Stop it, man. I was in a deep conversation there. Stop it. I was going to hit a point. I had a point to give. But you get what my point is. It's just, when I grew up, my teacher, Mr. Fisher, I didn't know if he was married or not. And he could have been like, he's married. I don't know if he's married to a woman or a girl. I mean, a man or a woman. Like, even like, why is that such a focal point? Boom, I'm in here. I am gay and I'm trans and I am married to another man. Why does an 8-year-old care? You just be like, yeah, I'm married. You married? Are you married, Mr. Fisher? Yes, I'm married. Okay. No. Wait. But I want to tell you who I'm married to. A man.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about this man. It's okay if you like your friend. Like, you start this confusion, and that's where a level of contradiction happen, and emotions and arguments, is everyone wants to live in their own truth, but no one's accepting each other's truth. And until we understand and be more accepting and loving, I think we will continue to grow further and further apart.
We will.
We will. Are a Black conservative. It does not mean you are dumb, you are ignorant, you don't know what you're talking about. You can say that same thing about that Black liberal. But instead of like, oh, okay, you're a Black conservative. Why? Why, Van? Why do you feel this way? Oh, you like Trump, Van? Why? Oh, Mark, you like DeSantis? I thought you were all about Gillum. I was. So what happened? You sold out? You Uncle Tom? Well, no, this is why. I don't want to hear the reason why. We've gone to this weird place, and I don't see it turning around anytime soon. I think it's done on purpose by advertising corporations, government, whatever it is, everyone's feeding to these various different echo chambers that we were talking about in different groups. People are feeding into those, and eventually we'll be so divisive that something may happen. Something may happen. Who knows what will happen? But we're going down a dark path. But I hope things will turn around. I hope these conversations like you and I are having today will continue. I hope people will listen to it. I hope people will think about it. I hope people won't just automatically click stop the minute they hear that you're a Black conservative. I hope people won't just stop because of our opinions about the LGBTQ community. People need to start listening to each other more often. And it's kind of just, you may not agree with everything, but address everything with love and peace. And our love and peace is gone. It's love and violence. That's it. It seems like there's no middle ground anymore. In the 70s, it was all about peace, love, and happiness. Now it's just like my truth, and if you're not in my truth, I hate you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to take away your job. I'm going to end your career. I'm going to, do all this crazy stuff. And it's in such a weird space. And man, listen, you and I, we've been talking for 3 hours. Brother, I really appreciate you coming on. I am going to ask you this last question, though.
Likewise, man. Go ahead.
This last question. You going to vote for Trump?
Sorry?
Are you going to vote for Trump?
I would if he's the best. If he's the best candidate at the time, I would. Because I'm now at a point where I'm paying attention. I'm actively paying attention. I've never, when it came to the only time I really paid attention or tried to act like I was paying attention is when Barack Obama was running against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic
nominee.
And I was paying attention then. I was like, nah, this Black dude is going to win. If I got something to do with it, this Black brother going to get up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. So now I'm paying attention, man. My antennas are up. Of course, my base is conservative. So I will automatically be considering a conservative. But if somebody's running and they're more centered than anybody else that's out there, if Joe Biden does not run again, which I hope he does not, and someone runs in his steed who's more left leaning than they are right, and they are making far more sense than the ones who are running on the right, then I will consider them. But right now, I'm leaning toward because of 2016 to 2020, how things went with the economy then. I'm leaning toward Trump, surprisingly, but I'm hearing great things from DeSantis as well. But I don't know, man, because at the end of the day, I think that a lot of these politicians are paid for, bought and sold, and I really don't trust any of them. But I do plan on going to a Trump rally. I plan on going to a Trump rally. I plan on getting like a gang of people to go with me. This will not, because I don't want this to only be my first. I would like for it to be others too. And I would like to be there with other people who have been there before, time and time again, just to see what it's about, see what the energy is like and all that other stuff, and to do some content while we're there.
That would be a great idea. I've never been to one either. I hear they make quite fun. It's like a concert.
Would you go with me?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Let me know. I'm being serious. Let me know. I'll go. It'll be a shocker. Like, and it's no guarantee I'm going to vote for Trump. I have put myself after Obama's run. I told myself I need to really pay attention to politics, and I don't care if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican. I don't care what your rhetoric is. I need to know what are your real concrete plans. And yes, a lot of them will say certain things, they have plans, and then it doesn't come to fruition. But I want to see your action. I've said this before. I was all about Gillum. I campaigned for Gillum. We went to his rallies. That was my kid's very first rallies. We were all about Gillum. I was like, DeSantis, man, this guy is a joke. DeSantis won. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna keep an open mind. And my God, that guy has been doing an amazing job here in Florida. Do I agree with everything that he's doing? No. Do I agree with 80%? Yes. Do I think the media completely finds any sort of reason to try to bash this guy and misinterpret his statements or the things he's trying to do and try to make it seem like Florida is such a crappy place and all this other stuff? I'm like, there's a reason why when he went against Gillum, he won by 32,000 votes, right? It was a close race, really close race. His reelection, he won by millions, which should show you that over here in Florida, liberals and Republicans like him because he's doing a good job for Florida. Now, there's some things I wish he would work on or do better, like the Disney thing. I think that was a vendetta type thing. I get it, but I was like, yeah, I feel like you're misusing your power a little bit there. But at the same time, I mean, Disney was getting some sort of benefits that like Universal wasn't getting, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens. A lot of those places weren't getting those benefits.
Right.
But it started because they had an issue with the whole don't say gay bill, which was never don't say gay at all. And they were backing the whole, again, the liberal movement because what was popular, what will help their brand, what will help the money in their pockets. It was go with the left-leaning agenda and not support the guy who is that you're sharing a state with, essentially. So we'll see what happens. For selfish reason, I hope DeSantis doesn't run. I want him to stay here as a governor. But we'll see what happens.
I've heard other people say that.
Yeah, I would love for him to stay because the last election, listen, I was not looking forward to Trump. I was looking forward to Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard. I was looking
Tulsi.
Those before that, I wasn't looking forward for Hillary or Trump. I was for Bernie Sanders and what was the other guy's name? Johnson. I forgot his name. I think his name was Johnson. That's who I actually ended up voting for. And I just went blank. Gary Johnson. There you go, Gary Johnson. And he was independent, I believe, and he did a great job. Very honest guy. He just made one mistake. And they threw him under the bus. And after that, he was just discredited. They asked him about something that was happening in overseas. He wasn't aware of it. And that just completely destroyed his reputation. And they had an issue that he was a pot smoker because he was going to legalize marijuana. Yeah, he was going to legalize marijuana. And they were like, well, if you're in office, would you be smoking all the time and taking edibles? He's like, well, clearly not. I wouldn't be doing that. I can't be high doing my job. He's like, but I'm totally for it, for people to have edibles and stuff. And people kind of felt a certain way about that as well. But I thought he was a great candidate, but that one interview that they put him on the spot destroyed his reputation. They ran with it and he was done. He was done after that. So I'm open-minded and I hope everybody who's listening to my channel, I know this wasn't finance related. Like I said, it's Uncultured Currency. I'm rebranding. I want to talk about just interesting stuff. Van, I consider him a friend. We haven't met face to face, but we've done content together. He's a good dude, solid dude. I think him and I have a lot in common, and I hope this conversation.
Check is in the mail, brother.
Thank you. I hope this conversation really opened a lot of y'all's eyes. I hope you won't just alienate, but we need to start moving forward, more peace and love, and be transparent. Transparent. Call out the devils. There you go. Call out the devils when you have an opportunity, but don't forgive people more than anything.
That's right.
That's all I got. Van, you got anything else? Where can they find you, my brother? Please tell people where they can find you.
Find me on the internet, man. LFRfamily.com. But listen, I don't even want people to follow me, be honest with you. I just want people to start communicating with each other within their own worlds, because we're all in our own worlds right now. And we need to start being accepting of other people's worlds. That's the only way we do. Your next door neighbor, your spouse has her own world, has his own world. We need to be accepting. Your kids are in their own world right now. They're in a place right now that you've never experienced ever. Every single day. Like they can't dress a certain type of way, because back in the day when we dressed a certain type of way, we were picked on by the people who saw us in close proximity.
Yeah.
Right now, they could be recorded and it goes out through the entire world and they're bullied by everyone.
Forever.
So we have to consider all things. Huh?
I said, and that stuff stays out there forever. Anything
it stays out there
forever.
We had
the privilege to mess up and screw up growing up, and it will be fine. They don't. They do not.
They don't, bro. And that's the thing. So, you know what? I would just say this. I'm not looking for followers anymore. I'm actually looking for more dollars than I have followers. And I'm not trying to build it off the back of taking advantage of people. But some people will be taken advantage of because some people don't have what it takes to follow through with their investments. And it may come off looking as if they were taken advantage of. So I would just say, go after yours, continue to move forward. Don't let anybody slow you down. Don't let anybody stop you, and show love, man. Show love. That's it. Just show love.
I appreciate it, man. Everybody. He said don't follow him, but I'm telling you, follow him. By the way, LFR family. It does not stand for a laugh, family. I don't know.
It stands for the new currency, man. Likes, follows, and retweets.
Yeah. Just in case.
And then that's the new currency. Yeah. Attention is everything. People want it, and they will pay for it. They will pay for it with their lives. Obviously, people have died, like skateboarding on a car on the highway, live for likes.
Yeah, those that man. Yeah, so that's another conversation. All right, y'all. Until next time, peace out.
Okay. I just got cultured.